Hey yo, what is going on, everybody? How are we doing today? Welcome to another beautiful Saturday afternoon with your boy. Obviously, we had a break week this week, unfortunately. So what we're going to be doing, instead of, if you know, going over the chapter, I thought it would be cool if we went over every single curse technique in the entire series and just put them on a tier list, kind of rank them one by one. It has been super long since I did this. I think it's been over a year since we did our last tier list. So it's definitely coming up on time to do it. I said I would have guests, but unfortunately, none of them were able to make it. So you just get me. That's fine. You guys can deal with it, right? I hope that's okay. How's everyone doing today? How's chat doing? Zebex in chat. What's going on, Zagro? David Wagner. Danderson is here. We're going to be judging this by curse technique potential, not so much user, although we, of course, will be using feats from the user to describe the curse technique. So, like, for example, if we have an ability like Jogo's Fire, or, for example, let's say probably a better example would be, is the curse bag user on here? I hope so. We've got fucking Juzo on here who doesn't even have a curse technique. I would hope we have one of the the cursed bag head guy on here. I gotta find him. Is he not on here? Do I have to find a whole new tier list? That'll be annoying. Yeah. He's not on here, so I have to. This doesn't have everybody. This doesn't have everyone, despite saying it has everyone on the tier list. It just lied to me. So that's always cool. While I'm finding a new fucking tier list, guys, I hope you're all doing well. Again, I hope you're all having a great Saturday. I hope your weekends are going well, making the most of this break week. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like on the stream. Helps other people find the stream. And all the good stuff like that. How are you guys doing? Let me check out chat while I'm trying to pull this up. What's up? Hi. Jackaboy Naylor just got the new volume. We love that. Travis Lindsay, what's going on? So it's kind of crazy how this doesn't have everybody, but it says it's the most up-to-date tier list. This doesn't have everybody either. Man. This is kind of unfortunate. I'll never be able to find another tier list that looked that good. So I think what I'm going to do then is we're still going to use this tier list, but I'm going to have to add characters in, which is fine. Not a problem. And I just found him, so we can add him into the tier list. And if for some reason any of you guys notice anyone else is missing, then just let me know, and I'll throw him right in there. Oh, that's not what I wanted. No. What did I just save this as? Unnamed masked curse user. Bet. I wish I could remove that now that I put it in there, but it's okay. We're good to go. We're good to go. We got everyone. We're waiting for people to step in too. Frustrated player, what's going on? Ferdinand, what's going on? Reapa, what's going on? Jackaboy Naylor, thanks for liking. So, guys, we're not going to waste any more time. We've already wasted enough trying to make sure that we got the right tier list. We'll go ahead and get started. I wish I could jumble this up a little bit because some of these characters are like right off the bat coming in strong, like Sukuna, Meguna. obviously they're gonna take like top of the ladder. So let's start with someone like Angel. Jacob's Ladder. How do we feel about Jacob's Ladder? So, contrary to popular belief, Jacob's Ladder is supposed to be a pretty OP curse technique. It's supposed to completely extinguish literally every curse technique it goes up against, as well as also has the secondary property of just eliminating evil and eliminating evil spirits. Like, I had a lot of people in my Mahito versus every sorcerer video correct me and Ronan saying that Angel would demolish pretty much any curse spirit, especially Mahito, because Jacob's Ladder would literally just eliminate the evil that is just Mahito in general, just the pure disdain for humanity that Mahito has. Like, if it's able to hurt Sukuna, which we just got those extra pages of how Jacob's Ladder affected Sukuna, which even goes to show how much more powerful it is. The most powerful curse technique, Angel, is fodder, yet super powerful. Defo S, though if Angel was in her OG body, she probably would be special grade. I definitely can feel like it probably deserves to be in an A. I think S is putting it a little bit too high tier, because even though it's able to completely extinguish any curse technique, it's completely dependent on the user entirely. Like, if your user is able to fumble, as we see Hanakarusu literally does, you can completely fuck everything up. But if you're, you know, competent and you're not, you know, getting tricked by the king of curses like Angel themselves, curse technique's probably a little bit more, you know, a little bit more durable, a little bit more useful. So we'll put it at A, because its potential completely depends on the user's emotional status. Give you to that technique and it would be an S? Potentially. I think we'll have to see how the tier list goes, and maybe we'll move it into S as we compare it to some of the other A curse techniques. But I think starting it off at A is probably really good to go. Did I see Pikuna being hit by Jacob's Ladder in the redone chapter? 110%. I think that's what I was saying before. I think it added a lot of context to Jacob's Ladder as a whole and made it definitely seem like a much more crazy curse technique to deal with. But moving on, we have Charles' curse technique, which is Future Sight. And although in the fight against Takari, obviously Charles got mollywopped, Charles is literally, just like Higuruma, has only really been a sorcerer for a couple, you know, moments, like a couple days, if that. Like, we only saw Charles get to 2 seconds of Future Sight, but it's completely possible that Charles could definitely continue gaining seconds as he continues to fight the opponent. But it suffers from the fact that, as Charles shows completely, if you're not able to keep up with the speed that you're percepting in, you're just basically getting blitzed completely. What's up, China Doll? How we doing? I just recently wrote the Otonoki lab arc for Sakamoto Day's video, and in that arc, there's a fight specifically. One of the characters, Shin, has clairvoyance. He's basically able to read people's thoughts, and that gives him a little bit of an advantage because he's literally able to hear people's thoughts before they attack him. But because he's not able to keep up with the way he can read people's thoughts, it's hard for him to dodge and actually even use that advantage. So it's completely dependent on the user itself. I mean, if you get someone like Yuta, who's able to back up with stats and speed and attack power and durability and use that curse technique, yeah, it's going to be pretty OP giving someone like Yuta Future Sight. But when you compare it to someone who's just not able to use it and isn't really a fighter, they're just really not going to do much with the curse technique, unfortunately. So while being a pretty decent curse technique, it's going to be very similar to a curse technique like Baghead Guy that we'll get into later, who was in the Hidden Inventory arc and went up against Gojo. Specifically because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't know how to use your technique properly, it's not going to matter much. So I think it's safe to say that we can put this at C. Potentially Charles could make, actually, you know what, potentially it could be a B, because again, it's one of those curse techniques where it has everything to do with potential. We may move it lower depending on as other curse techniques go. That's the beauty of curse technique tier lists, is that as we start filling out the tier list, we'll be like, you know what, this really doesn't fit in this scenario, so we'll keep it like that. Definitely a low B in my mind for sure for right now. Moving forward, we're gonna go with the character that literally just revealed their curse technique, Mythical Beast Amber, Kashimo Hajime, who Kashimo's curse technique, despite not being able to, you know, show its true potential, Kashimo's curse technique is pretty fucking OP. I want to stress that. If you didn't see my video explaining what Kashimo's curse technique is supposed to be capable of, let's do a brief rerun. Kashimo's curse technique, Mythical Beast Amber, basically converts every single bit of cursed energy and flesh inside Kashimo's body into any phenomena that Kashimo can that is capable from electricity. So it's kind of very similar to an eight gates kind of jutsu, where you do die after using it. It's a one-time curse technique, unfortunately, because once you use it, it completely dismantles your body entirely. Now, what you're supposed to be able to do inside that curse technique is really what makes it OP. Being able to create any phenomena that stems from electricity is pretty fucking OP. Like electricity, you're able to use thunderbolts, you're able to use a static electricity, you're able to use electromagnetism, create magnetic fields. Like Kashimo's curse technique, even though it wasn't able to really be used against Sukuna because Sukuna literally just mollywopped the fuck out of it, it is actually pretty much nuclear catastrophe level, because Kashimo's beam that he can fire is able to recreate gravitational force, able to recreate nuclear force even, because all of it stems from phenomena of electricity. Like Kashimo can use magnetism. Kashimo can literally vaporize things that have been irradiated by his cursed energy. Like when Kashimo takes his hand out and closes it in front of Sukuna's head, and there's like a brief explosion underneath Sukuna if he doesn't move, Kashimo basically irradiated everything, which has everything to do with magnetism, because everything has a small balance of magnetism, right? All objects in the universe have some kind of magnetism. Kashimo, by abusing that magnetism, he can basically irradiate something, and then after irradiating something with his cursed energy, can just blow it the fuck up and vaporize it entirely, which is OP as fuck. The biggest thing for sure is really going to be that Kashimo can basically mimic the power of a nuclear warhead if he so chooses to. Now, he can only use this curse technique once, so it's not very, you know, useful if you can't use it in every single battle. Like in a gauntlet style, someone asked me if they wanted to, if we could put Kashimo up against a gauntlet against every single Jujutsu sorcerer like we did with Mahito and Toji. And we're planning to do with Maharaga. Look out for that one. That's coming out soon. Kashimo wouldn't be able to run a gauntlet, because if he activates his curse technique as soon as it runs out, he's kind of cooked. So that's really what keeps his curse technique probably from being an S tier. If it was constant, where you could use it continuously and he could reuse it time and time again, then yeah, I would probably be more inclined to give Mythical Beast Amber an S tier ranking. But as for right now, it stays an A, unfortunately, because it does have amazing destructive power, but it can't be repeated. And going by Blue Lock rules, just because you can create the awesome formula to score, if you can't recreate that formula, you're fucking nothing. And that's the truth in itself. Now, let's be real here. Moving on to a character that's definitely a very special case, which is going to be Higuruma Hiromi. Higuruma and his curse technique are both very interesting, because he's very similar to Akari, to where his curse technique completely stems from his domain expansion. So if Higuruma can't lay out his domain expansion, Higuruma literally can't use his curse technique, which is definitely a downside. Now, while being a con, it's also a pro in other respects, because if you figure once you catch your opponent in the domain expansion, not only do you forbade violence, like once you're caught in Higuruma's domain, you literally can't do anything about it. If the character you're using it against doesn't have a domain expansion, they're literally not going to be able to cancel out or do anything against your curse technique. Like once you get caught in the domain, you're fucked. Even Gojo, if Gojo can't lay out his own domain, his curse technique is neutralized inside of the domain. And I know it's basically a big moment of contest whether casting a domain expansion inside of Higuruma's domain is considered an act of violence. I imagine because most domain expansions include a one-hit kill technique, they're probably considered an act of violence. Now that gets a little bit more ambiguous when you put domain expansions like Hikari's on the drawing board, because on the cutting board, I think is probably the better phrase to use there. Because Hikari's domain expansion doesn't really include a one-hit kill. It more so revolves around him gaining jackpot. So I guess you could make an argument that, yeah, literally Higuruma's, that Hikari's domain, could be considered non-violent. But a character's domain like Sukuna, where it's literally going to destroy everything inside of it, I think, yeah. That would be considered violence. So moving on from that point, the fact that Higuruma's curse technique completely stems from his domain expansion is both a pro and a con in different ways than one. But the thing is, with Higuruma's domain expansion, as people are saying in chat, most people have committed a crime at least once, especially when you consider Judgment, the Shikigami inside Deadly Sentencing, literally considers small things like fucking underage gambling in a pachinko parlor as a crime. Like literally, there's a saying that goes, if you follow someone for 1,000 miles, you'll see them break at least one law. If you follow someone long enough, you'll always find someone to break a law. No one's clean, no one's perfect. There's always things in certain people's lives that they break the law. Whether you want to say the severity of those laws changes, I'm sure they definitely do. But considering Judgment doesn't give a fuck the severity of that law, and if you get hit with at least one guilty, you lose your curse technique or cursed energy control, as Higuruma kind of explains that losing your curse technique fucks with your cursed energy control anyway. It's kind of like a twofold nerf that you get hit with. So any sorcerer that gets hit and gets found guilty by confiscation is gonna lose their curse technique, which is a big disadvantage. And you also consider, if your fucking, whatchamacallit, crime that you get found guilty for is so heinous, you can literally get the death sentence, which means Higuruma gets a sword of light that appears in his hand that no conditions or objections, upon no exceptions whatsoever, if you make contact with the sword of execution, you die. Whether you're Sukuna, whether you're Gojo, no matter what, you will die for sure. Judgment is absolute law, and so is the capital punishment death sentencing. Which, I mean, Higuruma does have to touch you with the sword, so if you're a character that can fight long range or stay away from Higuruma, that kind of doesn't really help Higuruma, especially if you're more skilled than him, which is kind of the whole problem right now, where Higuruma can technically kill Sukuna with the death sentencing, but he has to touch Higuruma with the sword, which is a whole nother fucking thing in itself. So I have to say that Higuruma's curse technique is pretty fucking OP. Like, very OP. I definitely think Higuruma's domain expansion and curse technique are at least A tier. For sure. The only downside and the only thing that makes it not an S, I would have to say, is the fact that any character that has a domain expansion is going to be able to stop it. And that's pretty much its only downside. If you go up against a character that has simple domain, Hollow Wicker Basket, or can overpower it in the domain game, or just tug of war domain expansion to stop the innate technique from activating, you're kind of fucked, for lack of a better word, huh? That being said, moving on to the next curse technique would be Reggie's curse technique of receipt recreation or contract recreation, which is a pretty strong curse technique in my honest opinion. I mean, the fact that you can literally take any contract, receipt, transaction, anything that has proof of purchase, and you can recreate that, whether it be summoning fucking Mack trucks or healing yourself and regenerating all of your stamina thanks to like a 2-day spa. You can summon houses, you can summon cars, and if you have a versatile curse user like Reggie, who's able to just basically completely take advantage of everything at that disposal, then yeah, I think that's pretty of an OP curse technique. It's definitely not on the same level as like Mythical Beast Amber or Deadly Sentencing, but it's pretty fucking OP. Can you summon slaves? Well, that's not only an edgy question, but also a valid one, because I guess if you literally have proof of purchases, yikes, we're getting into obscene territory here. But I definitely think contract recreation is definitely pretty crazy. People be saying, bro, what? I mean, it's a valid question. Are we being serious? We're gonna get uptight about that? That's technically a purchase. Depending on the time era that you're doing your cursed jujutsu in. Very funny. Imagine he bought Megami from Toji. So true, bro. Like, Toji literally sold his son to the Zenin clan. That's not that crazy. Yeah, I definitely, so cursed contract recreation definitely has a lot of different ways you could use it. The main problem is you have to get all of those receipts and contracts to use them, which I think is what probably puts it in a tier lower than something like Charles's Future Sight, simply because, again, you have to have all of the sources in order to use the technique. Like, you can't just wake up one day and be like, all right, bro, I'm gonna summon a house on my opponent. Like, you've got to be able to gain, or like, you've got to rob like a CVS's, like, you know what I mean? You got to or if you work at like a retail store, you just start reprinting receipts. Like, think about it. And if you only work at one store, you're really kind of limited in the kind of receipts you can get. If you're broke, the technique don't work, and you don't have access, like, for Reggie to be able to get the receipts for like trucks and cars and also have receipts for houses and stuff like that, that's a little ridiculous. Like, where did he go? Like, he literally had to go to a bunch of different businesses to get that shit. While it's great in utility and great in idea, yeah, I definitely have to put it in C, because if you're not able to get all of the resources to make it an OP technique, it's frankly just not gonna be an OP technique, and that's its huge downside. Med, thank you for the 5. I appreciate that support. What do I think is a better suicide kill? A weak sorcerer summoning Maharaga, or the buff received from Mythical Beast Amber? I think the buff received from Mythical Beast Amber is probably a better tactic, simply because if you're being honest with yourself, Mythical Beast Amber, you immediately get the buff from, and you're able to use that buff and fight people and attack people, and use everything you can at your heart's disposal. Whereas if you summon Maharaga, there's no guarantee you can even control Maharaga, as we see when Megami first summons Maharaga, and Maharaga literally just bashes Megami to the side and is in a state of suspended death if Sukuna didn't like stop Maharaga and break the ritual, right? I also think that's absolutely hysterical that someone was just in chat saying let Reggie buy a star. Like, do scam receipts work like that? Like, if someone gets scammed, right? and you buy a star. Like, does that count? You could then take that star, recreate it, and like blow it up. That's actually pretty OP. But again, I mean, I don't know. You go on Facebook Marketplace and just start buying a bunch of random shit. That's how you start every day. All right. So that being said, moving on. I think Reggie's curse technique very versatile, but suffers from real world limitations. Moving on to Ryu Ishigori, which, I mean, his curse technique is basically just having the ability to immediately have the highest cursed output in the world and then use that cursed output in like a cannon, like as like a veritable cannon. And it technically is considered his curse technique because Ryu was literally able to use it as a domain expansion. You know what I mean? Like, so his Granite Blast or the Granite Blast, whatever you want to say, and his hunger and everything about that, like Ishigori, technically that is his curse technique. And he also has one of the fastest curse technique cooldowns after domain expansion. The problem is Cursed Blast, as people are calling it in chat. If you don't have a very high cursed energy storage, it's pretty whack, you know, 110%. Like, if you don't have a huge, as people are saying in chat, if you don't have a natural cursed energy output that's very high and you don't get tired, you know, if you get tired easily, you're kind of screwed. I actually would probably think it's even whacker than contract recreation, simply because, again, it's completely dependent on you. It's just so basic. And like, what was Ishigori shooting a cursed energy lasers out of when he didn't have his pompadour? That's really what I want to know. Like, when he just had that like basic yee ass haircut back in the Edo period with that little like ponytail shit. And was he just like firing cursed energy from his mouth like Raccoon and Nappa from Dragon Ball Z? Like, I think, like, if Ryu didn't have the strongest cursed energy output in all of the world and all of history, he'd be pretty lame. So I think it's pretty safe to say Ryu can, yeah, eye lasers like he's fucking Cyclops from X-Men. I'm gonna go ahead and have to say Ishigori is gonna get put in D tier. That Curse Blast, Granite Blast, and even his domain expansion, whack as fuck. RIP. Not even standing a single chance against hacks and OP curse techniques. Now, that being said, we've got the fucking GOAT himself coming up right now, Takaba, with the comedian curse technique, who is an immediate S tier, without a doubt. Takaba literally can warp reality. His only downside is he doesn't understand his curse technique or even know what his curse technique is, so he doesn't know how to utilize it properly. But it can be argued, honestly, that Takaba not understanding his curse technique actually makes it even stronger. Because think about it, if you want something to be funny and you're trying to force something to be funny, it's usually not as funny as if something is candid and just happens randomly, you know? Like, Takaba trying to be a comedian could not succeed whatsoever. He was literally one of the worst comedians of all time and could never succeed. He's in his late 30s and couldn't get his career off the ground whatsoever. So I think that says everything you need to know about his terrible comedy. But the thing is because Takaba finds such dumb shit hilarious, that's Takaba's whole curse technique. Everything that Takaba finds funny happens. Like, Takaba literally breaks fucking reality. And without a doubt, this makes Takaba almost unbeatable. If you like really think about it. Takaba's comedian allows him the entire time where he's fighting Hazanoki to take absolutely no damage whatsoever. Like, Hazanoki's curse technique, whatever you want to say, make fun of him as much as you want, this man is literally able to just blow shit up, no fucking trouble. Like, you can just take his tooth or his eye and just fling it, and he's basically just projectile blowing shit up as much as he wants. No matter how strong you are, that should be at least some kind of a problem. I mean, we see Megami, who, you know, does have some decent durability. I don't want to say Megami's, you know, this fucking iron wall. He's not, you know, Megami doesn't have the best durability feats, but pure on fucking explosions, Takaba's taking no damage. I mean, it's honestly controversial and debated that Takaba could fight Sukuna and end up taking no damage whatsoever. Takaba just has to find the entire battle funny. Like, Takaba is 1,000 years of painting people in the back end of the rear. Well, like, the only thing that Takaba's curse technique suffers from is being completely neutralized in a domain expansion. Which is part of the reason why a character like Takaba wouldn't be able to beat characters like Gojo or Sukuna, even though the comedian technically is a higher tier power level than the Limitless and Six Eyes or Cleave, Dismantle, Malevolent Shrine. Everything the two highest characters in the series are capable of, right? It was stated that Takaba could eclipse Satoru Gojo in power. Like, Takaba's curse technique is better than the Limitless and the Six Eyes. But the problem is, if Takaba doesn't have a domain expansion, who knows what that domain expansion would look like, right? That would definitely be just fucking ridiculous. But again, if Takaba doesn't have a domain expansion, any character like Sukuna or Gojo that is able to just completely overpower Takaba in the domain expansion department would just neutralize the curse technique. You know what I mean? Which is the problem as a whole. Like, Takaba can completely void out and nullify everything Sukuna can do in real battle, take absolutely no damage from Cleave, Dismantle, even the world bisecting Cleave that is known to literally just cut you no matter where you are in the world, just because it just cuts space and existence itself. That would not affect Takaba at all, which, again, that world bisecting Cleave is supposed to be the strongest curse technique in the entire verse right now. Not even the Limitless could stand up to it. And Takaba would just eat that shit, no fucking problem, which says a lot. Again, it makes you completely invincible. You're not able to take any damage whatsoever, no matter what your curse technique is. Takaba is able to fight you, and to the point where Takaba's comedian. Now, of course, we're not really basing this off the user itself, so this is more a Takaba feat than it is the comedian feat. But it goes to show you that anyone that has the comedian curse technique, if they're a strong fighter as well, like Takaba, when he goes and drop kicks Hazanoki, both Reggie and Hazanoki are fucking baffled because the uptick in cursed energy output that Takaba throws out and charges up when he attacks Hazanoki is so fucking strong. Even Reggie's like, holy fuck, this guy just whooped Hazanoki with a strong attack. If you're able to back the comedian up with a strong fighting style, battle IQ, and attack power, you can do pretty fucking significant fucking damage. On top of that, if you do have domain defense like Simple Domain or Hollow Wicker Basket, or fuck it, if you have the comedian and have a domain expansion of your own, it's over. That's it. If Takaba ever gets a domain expansion, he is the #1 character in the entire verse, and I don't care who knows it. I'll shout it from the fucking heavens. Honestly, like, I might end up making a whole entirely new tier for Takaba as we start filling out the S tier, because the comedian is legitimately just that fucking strong. And the only downside to it is that Takaba doesn't know what the fuck his curse technique is. What if Takaba's the next Gojo? Like, he's gonna be the sensei for future generations? Yo, Takaba as like a faculty member at Jujutsu High would be one of the craziest things in the entire world. Like, if Takaba, again, understands his curse technique or is able to just teach people cursed energy, like, Takaba is already, every time he's on screen, just such a funny character. I mean, I'll say it and I'll say it again. Gege Akutami is cooking something up for Takaba. He is going to be, a lot of people just think he's a gag character, but he is going to be so important, I shit you not. I will die on that hill. There is a reason that Gege defaulted to Kusakabe given all that dialogue during Gojo vs. Sukuna. I will shout it from the rooftops, on top of the fact that Takaba has one of the greatest curse techniques in the series, that Takaba being absent throughout all of Gojo vs. Sukuna. Go back and reread that fight. Every single character talks, but Takaba's nowhere to be seen. Every chapter Takaba's in, he has so much presence. He's showing up in final panels. He's popping in different panels just to make a dumb joke. Like, Takaba is a gag character through and through when it comes to the story. Nowhere to be seen in Gojo vs. Sukuna. Still, he's cooking something up. He's doing something important. Mark my words. Not only is the comedian one of the best curse techniques in the series, it's going to change the world and be the reason why Sukuna loses. That's a little crazy. I might be talking out of my ass for that, but I'm telling you, Takaba's gonna save us all. RM, you are so right. Anyway, that's enough of the Takaba wank. I've given enough of it. I'm just telling you, Takaba is an amazing character. And the comedian is reality breaking, literally impossible to beat. S tier for sure. Bro is probably holding off Kenjaku. I'm telling you, that's what's happening right now. We're gonna cut to Takaba versus Kenjaku. That's what's been going on this entire time. Yuta versus Kenjaku. Ha. Puh. Joke battle. Don't give me that nonsense. Give me the real fight. Takaba versus Kenjaku and the million merging curse spirit, the million spirit curse spirit. Moving on. Man's fighting the merger right now. That's what I'm saying. Moving on, we've got Oro's curse technique, the leader of the Sun, Moon, and Stars squad, who I know a lot of people have been talking shit about because it's like fake stats, but I think the fact that we've seen Yoro, who was the leader of the Sun, Moon, and Stars squad, we've seen Yorozu, who was able to defeat the Empty Void generals as well as Yoro, and we've also seen Yuta, who's both supposed to represent a member of the Fujiwara clan. We've seen how Angel was able to go against Sukuna when it came to Jacob's Ladder. So granted, when it comes to fake stats with all these old Heian era like groups, we have had some points of reference for how strong these characters are. So again, I don't think it's valid to say that all of these stats are fake. But moving on, Yoro, the leader of the Sun, Moon, and Stars squad, the main assassin of the Toe from back in the Heian era. Her curse technique is sky manipulation. And I won't lie, sky manipulation is also a pretty OP curse technique. I don't know if I would put it in A tier. I see a lot of people in chat saying it's A tier, but we can talk about it. We can talk about it and see if we convince me. So what sky manipulation basically does is not only does it hide your undesirable parts, so that way you don't have to wear clothes, as Yoro seems to mostly use the technique for. Sky manipulation as a whole basically lets you grab space as a whole and like bend it and warp it as you see fit. It's called sky manipulation, but it has a lot more to do with space as a whole. As we see when Yoro fights Yuta, she's literally able to just grab space and just completely distort it, which one, not only stretches Yuta's arms and limbs out and makes them completely unusable, which Yuta cannot block against, do anything against, because she's literally pulling the space around, not him. You can't block against the space moving. She is also literally able to divert attacks with the space manipulation, as shown when she basically takes Ishigori's Granite Blast and spins it around in a circle and then whips it right back at him, basically not even touching the Granite Blast itself, but touching the space that it's traveling and warping it around, and then just changing the trajectory of the entire attack. Could Yoro bypass infinity? I'm not entirely sure if that is possible for Yoro. I mean, Yoro could potentially grab the Limitless and then like I imagine if Yoro was to interact with the Limitless, the infinite space, she could grab the infinity and like yank it and yoink it and stretch it out. But I think because it's literally infinite space, I don't think Yoro would ever like be like, if she like, I'm imagining her like trying to like grab the Limitless and pull it open so she could grab Gojo, but I don't think that would be possible because, again, the Limitless is infinite space. As much as she can distort and pull on it and stretch it out, she can't just like, she can't split space. Like she can't do what Gojo does, where Gojo creates instances where there's -1 apples. Like Gojo can just create space and then delete it, so people can just like, that's what happens in the anime when like he like pulls the two cursed bag clones together. Like he creates space and then deletes it, which just creates an anomaly where there's negative space. Oro can't do that. She can just stretch on and extend space. Exactly, she can just pull the finite part closer, as Jackboy said in chat. It's definitely a very OP curse technique, and would help her when it comes to close quarters combat, because she can, again, just basically move people's attacks around and then use that to attack people, which enemies are completely defenseless against. Even though it doesn't incur damage, that would probably up it a tier if when Yoro distorted space and like stretched your arm out, your arm was like fucked like that forever and all your bones broke. That would be pretty fucking crazy. She also is supposed to have a domain expansion, although we never see what that domain expansion actually is. So unfortunately we can't scale it based on that, but we can say that it wouldn't be neutralized by other domains. So that's definitely a upside that the curse technique has. What it does come down to, unfortunately, also, I don't want to forget the ice break missile, which is basically where Yoro is basically able to crack the space. Somewhat similar to what Gojo does with the -1 space, where she basically extends space and then lets it rebound back, causing an implosion of space, which we see is powerful enough to just basically rocket Yuta down into the fucking ground and cause some damage. Yuta's able to reverse curse technique it away, but thin ice missile is definitely a pretty powerful technique. We also see Yuta use it to cause critical damage to Ishigori. So even if you're not a master in the sky manipulation curse technique, you can use it to make some pretty strong attacks. It's a very versatile technique. You can use it for a lot of different things. I would probably put it on B tier, similar to Future Sight. I would probably like it a little bit more than Future Sight. She can also, crush your skull with dense space. It's pretty versatile. It's a pretty good curse technique. I think it sits at B tier, but I don't think it compares to characters like techniques like Jacob's Ladder or Deadly Sentencing or Mythical Beast Amber, where it literally will just kill you. You've got to put in a little bit more work for it to make it be a pretty strong attack. But we'll see as things go. What's up, Tenro 100? How we doing today? We've got multiple different instances of Choso here. So I guess what we can do here is we can literally just judge it as this. Base Choso would be blood manipulation with unlimited cursed energy, which we know is clearly much better than regular blood manipulation. A cursed spirit's blood manipulation is super great. Piercing blood is as fast as the speed of sound. Flowing red scale definitely gives you a very strong durability, very strong attack power when you're fighting people. Thank you so much, Jujutsu Kaisen, for the $2 Canadian. I appreciate that support. Euro Terse technique is infinity with less steps. That's what I've heard. Yeah, she's the girl version of infinity. I've seen so many people say that she basically had infinity when she first came out. Definitely. But blood manipulation, you can create and Choso's blood manipulation is poisonous because he has that cursed spirit side to him, so it's also a lot higher than normal blood manipulation as well. Do I think it's on the same level as Future Sight and Sky manipulation, though? I mean, blood manipulation does give you close quarters combat, mid-range combat, long-range combat. It's a very versatile technique. And considering Choso style means you have unlimited blood, that definitely gives you a much better style of blood manipulation than someone like Kamo, who is basically restricted to the amount of blood that you can carry on you at certain time. I definitely think a curse technique like Sky manipulation or Future Sight would probably be better, but the unlimited blood of everything is probably what gives me the ante of putting it in B tier. Like, again, Kamo's blood manipulation is super not good because you're completely bound by the amount of blood you can keep on you and you can hurt yourself. Kamo's version of it lets you recycle blood too, but I'll get into that later when he actually shows up. The poison aspect of things, the unlimited aspect of things, are definitely what give blood manipulation a much better time here when it comes down to that. Much better time here. That being said, we can kind of discuss Esso and Kachizu as a little bit different. Afro Blaziken, thanks so much for saying you love my videos. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for the support. Also, guys, while I'm in a quick moment here, definitely feel free to hit the like button if you haven't already. I sincerely appreciate all you guys watching me here. We got over 300 people here. Let's see if we can hit 300 likes. You guys are all awesome people. I appreciate you. And if you guys are like watching the VOD right now, I appreciate you especially. Hit the like button on the video. So Esso would be Wing King, which is basically blood manipulation, but a lot at a much lesser degree. Not only do you have the poison aspect of things, you also have the ability to fly, and you also have the ability to rocket those blood tendrils everywhere that you need to go. But it is significantly less of a curse technique. Really not a big deal. I'd probably put it in C tier, and honestly, even putting it in C tier is honestly crazy, just because it gives you the ability of flight. I think that's the big thing here. Hey, China Doll, thank you so much for being a member for 1 month. I sincerely appreciate that. 1 month going strong. Love hearing my thoughts and opinions. I love seeing you in chat, China Doll. Thank you so much. Enjoy your panda badge. And I think Kachizu's just spitting blood and the decay technique is probably like D tier. Yeah, I think being able to fly is what probably puts it into C. Just the basic decay technique and just being able to like spit blood out is lame. Lame. I would probably rather have curse energy blasts than that. So I think those are pretty easy. But as a whole, blood manipulation and all the different, you know, variations of it are definitely really cool. Because we're talking about curse energy manipulation, if I was to talk about Kamo in general, I'd probably put regular blood manipulation probably very similar to like Reggie's contract recreation. Like, regular blood manipulation is a decent curse technique because, again, it gives you long range fighting, mid range fighting, close range fighting. It gives you a lot of different versatile options, even to the point where we see Kamo be able to use his own unique spin of it, of using the bow and arrow and everything like that, where he's able to literally heat seek and control the bows, you putting a little bit of blood on them, which is definitely a very versatile way to use blood manipulation. But regular Kamo clan blood manipulation is whack because, again, if you don't carry a bunch of vials of blood on you, a bunch of bags of blood, or you're forced to use your own blood in real combat, you're gonna be fucked. We do see in Sakurajima Colony, Kamo can like recycle the blood to keep himself alive, and in battle, but lame. Whack. Kamo is a character who seems like he's gonna be super cool in the exchange event and then is just super lame. I think I stand by the fact that Gege liked the name Noritoshi Kamo, realized the real Noritoshi Kamo, the teenage version, was lame as shit, and he goes, fuck, I'm just gonna reuse this name for my main villain, because yeah. China Doll, thank you so much for the $10 as well. I appreciate that support. Love having you in the community. Richie Edwards, thank you so much for the $2, and I appreciate your first super chat. Welcome to the community. Megami no Maharaga versus Choso Bloodlusted. That's actually a really good fight. I think the 10 Shadows makes Megami a very versatile fighter as well. Similar to how the blood manipulation gives you a very versatile, you know, fighting style. But I think if Choso's bloodlusted, the fact that Choso's melee combat with piercing blood, the speed behind it, supernova and everything like that, I think is a very bad matchup for Megami. Megami is going to be rabbit escaping most of the time in the fight, because one hit, I mean, with piercing blood is going to incapacitate Megami. Like, he's just at a very big downside when it comes to close quarters combat against someone like Choso, especially when you consider the whole blood poison thing. So I would probably say Choso bloodlusted going up against Megami. Choso would probably lose that fight. Choso would, again, probably lose that fight. Choso low mid diff, yeah. 10 Shadows gives Megami some options, but blood manipulation would just have too many upsides against Megami for sure. Moving towards Dagon, my man. So we can just use one Dagon here. There's gonna be some repeats for sure. Dagon is basically just water manipulation, which a lot of the disaster curses, I'll be completely honest with you, and I'll keep this same energy when we get down to Jogo and we get to Hanami as well. Elemental abilities, as you can see with Kashimo, are just frankly OP. Now obviously you have your hacks curse techniques and your curse techniques that are just like we'll get to Mahito and Idol Transfiguration of course later, which is clearly one of the examples of OP, where just one contact with Mahito lets him basically completely change your soul beyond repair and fuck you up. But when it really comes down to it, one of the craziest things about elemental curse techniques, and if you saw my Quincy Shrift ranking video for Bleach, you'll know I said the same thing in that video. If anything, I'm consistent. Basic elemental techniques can be some of the most devastating and powerful abilities in all of anime. Like, just straight up being able to control water and conjure water out of thin air. Like, waterbenders in Avatar: The Last Airbender have one downside where they have to have water around them. Not someone like Katara. Katara is just a fucking OP menace. I love Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where she can just turn water from the air or pull water out of the air or out of people with the blood manipulation, stuff like that. But Dagon can literally just summon an ocean of water and use it for whatever he wants. And I don't know if you've ever taken on an entire wave of water or a tsunami of water. Japan has, and it was not pretty, okay? Tsunamis, water are some of the most powerful forces of nature in the entire world. Getting struck with the straight velocity and just power and destructive strength behind a wave of water can kill a man, to be completely honest with you. Absolutely demolish a man. Or you can go the easy route using less waves and just encasing a person in straight up water where they can't escape, and just drowning them. Like, the utility behind elemental techniques are fucking insane. On top of the fact that you're going to add on top of Dagon's just basic water manipulation here, you're going to add Dagon's domain expansion, the Horizon of the Captivating Skanda, which just creates an endless horde of man-eating Shikigami that are just going to they're gonna eat you and bite you so fast, they're just gonna rip through you like a torrent of waves, similar to how the water would destroy you, right? Like, outside of domain expansion, water manipulation is definitely an A tier curse technique for sure. Domain expansion adds a huge layer of just power to that, in my honest opinion, which definitely puts it at A tier for sure. The domain expansion, honestly, I would probably raise Dagon up from A because of the domain expansion really is just super OP. But I think Angel being able to completely extinguish the curse technique definitely holds a higher tier. And I think Hiromi, well, actually, Deadly Sentencing would probably get canceled out by the Captivating Horizon, the Skanda's domain expansion. They could domain clash. So yeah, I'm gonna put Dagon there. I think Angel probably gets raised a tier list, because being able to just extinguish a curse technique is probably pretty OP. I would probably put it on the same level as Takaba's reality bending shit. Because at the end of the day, if Jacob's ladder goes off before Higuruma gets his domain off, it's gonna extinguish everything Higuruma can do, so that takes that out of the equation. Technically, Angel could probably extinguish Takaba's curse technique as well. And again, that could extinguish Kashimo's domain and curse technique if Kashimo has a domain. So yeah, I think Dagon, water manipulation, and Horizon the Captivating Skanda, A tier for sure, without a doubt. Finger Bearer 1 and 2 don't really have curse techniques. Honestly, I'd say they're similar to fucking Ishiguri with just cursed energy output. I'd probably put them on a similar level to that. So we'll just skip that. And we're going to move on to Hanami. And now Hanami, I'm going to pretty much say the exact same thing I said for Dagon. We didn't see Hanami's domain expansion, unfortunately, so I can't give them as much credit as I give Dagon, with having a whole like second layer of the why their elemental abilities are just super OP. But I mean, we've seen Hashirama from Naruto, right? Like forest creation and wood style. There's a reason that's one of the greatest elements and jutsu in Naruto, right? Like there's a fucking reason for that. Wood manipulation, being able to create an entire forest, and as we see in the battle where Hanami fights Yuji and Todo at the same time, Hanami can literally just take all of the trees away and just like she can create an entire maze and forest that Yuji and Todo are basically fighting on and running along. That sequence is fucking awesome, by the way, I have to tell you. And legitimately just takes it all away, and they're falling. They're just falling miles. Hanami can just like go inside the trees and like hide inside them. Hanami has the cursed buds that she can flick that basically just not only hit you, suck away all of your cursed energy with one hit to basically incapacitate you for the entire battle. If you get hit with the cursed bud, you're basically out of commission. Unless you're able to like figure out on the fly how to basically ignore the cursed buds like Todo does. And on top of all of that, Hanami also has the flower field that she can summon that takes away all your will to fight. Like, your will to fight is just completely gone. Completely just destroyed, over with, and then Hanami can take advantage of that delay in your bloodlust and just fucking pop you one and take you out. So forest manipulation is just as OP as water manipulation, but for so many different reasons. Honestly, even without seeing the domain expansion, Horizon the Captivating Skanda is definitely a very deadly curse technique. I'm not sure what Hanami's one-hit KO would have been, but again, Hanami's domain expansion would have a one-hit KO, just like Dagon's and Jogo's do. So I think with the forest manipulation and nature manipulation, everything like that, Hanami's definitely an A tier, without a doubt. Maybe even higher than Dagon. And honestly, the same thing is going to be said for Jogo. Jogo's fire manipulation is just absolutely OP. I mean, Jogo can literally just summon volcanoes, lava plumes that are able to take people out. Jogo completely demolishes 2 grade 1 sorcerers and 1 grade 1 candidate sorcerer with the fire attack power in no time. I mean, it's absolutely just elemental control is, again, I don't know if I can wank it off enough in this small little segment that I've just done. Like, having full control over the elements, whether it be nature, water, fire. If we ever get like curse techniques of light and darkness, I mean, if you want to consider the 10 shadows literally is darkness power, technically considering, I don't know if we've gotten anyone that could be considered light. Not yet, at least. I mean, maybe Angel could be considered light because it extinguishes, you know, curse techniques and stuff like that. But yeah, sincerely, I think it's pretty safe to say I'm gonna put Jogo up there as well. Jogo's domain expansion, coffin of the Iron Mountain, whatever it's called, is just meant to literally just like turn you to ash and melt you away in seconds if you get pulled into it, just because the heat is literally so fucking high. So yeah, fire, water, grass, the fucking 3 starter types from Pokemon in Jujutsu Kaisen, absolutely OP. I will never change my statement on that. Jogo, Dagon, and Hanami have amazing curse techniques, elemental powers, and not just Jujutsu Kaisen, but all of anime and manga as a whole will always be OP. It's the same reason why I ranked fucking Candace fucking Catnip, fucking one of the fucking fodder Bambis, if you even know what I'm talking about in Bleach, higher than most other Quincy's, spoiler in my Quincy Shrift ranking video, because just being able to control lightning and just whip it around wherever the fuck you want at the end of the day is OP as fuck. Even when you have people that just have when you compare it to like hacks, Jujutsu curse techniques. But I digress. I think I've talked enough about why just being able to be a fucking element bender makes you fucking OP, especially on the level that the disaster curses have. I am going to go to the bathroom, take a break, and we'll be right back into the tier list, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream. I sincerely appreciate every single one of you guys being here to hang out with me. You guys are all awesome people. We got 300 people in chat watching. You guys are all awesome. So I know we can have up to 300 likes if we want to. Go follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Link is in the chat. Go follow me on Twitter for some unfiltered thoughts. And I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to play an ad and we'll get through this tier list. Thank you for being here. All right, gentlemen and gentle ladies. That wasn't too long of a break, right? I hope not. Let me go ahead and let me go over some of these donos. I appreciate you if you donated. Thank you so much for your support. You guys are all awesome. Maximilian789, thank you so much for the $2 dono. Nice work so far. Will I post the link later for the tier list? Yeah, but I'll put it up on my Twitter. I put the link in chat, so you can find my tier list and the picture at the final one there. And Izakaizen, thank you so much for the dono again. I appreciate that. Am I a Boruto fan? Absolutely not. I'm sorry to break your dreams there, but yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Boruto. I'm a big fan of Naruto, not a fan of Boruto. I'll keep it at that before I upset some people. Hey, what's up, Elias? How we doing? Welcome to the chat, man. Thanks for being here. All right, we're gonna have to pick up the speed a little bit, guys. We're an hour in and we've only got a couple of curse techniques down, so let's start running through this shit. Up next, we've got Kurarushi, in my opinion, the disaster curse level curse spirit of cockroaches. So cockroach manipulation, cockroach, I don't even know if I said that right. Cockroach manipulation is a little bit different, I would say, than element manipulation, but it's still OP for a lot of crazy reasons, in my honest opinion. And the reason for that would definitely be because a lot of people are saying it in chat. It gives you the ability to use parthenogenesis or parthogenesis, however you want to say it. I've seen it spelled a couple different ways. You're almost immortal. As long as cursed energy exists in the cockroaches that you're manipulating, you can literally rebirth yourself in the most disgusting way possible using the other cockroaches at your disposal. Like, you are easily able to not only send torrents of fucking cursed energy powered bugs, which, as Yuta says, are all strong enough to give him a problem. Like, Yuta's literally blocking an entire wave of cockroaches with his cursed energy controlled sword because it's coming off that fucking strong. I mean, there's definitely no doubt in my mind that being able to completely suffocate, or literally just as we see, literally people get devoured to the bone and skeleton in literal moments by the cockroaches as they fucking are just eating people. I mean, like a fucking horde of locusts. I mean, it's definitely terrifying. Cockroach manipulation is definitely OP as fuck. And like I said, considering you can revive yourself if you still have a cockroach left alive after being killed, is definitely an OP kind of curse technique. So having the ability to just devour people in seconds, take out entire areas and locations like hordes of locusts, and ultimately having your body almost be immortal. I'm like kind of hesitating to put him in A. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't have a domain expansion, which means anything with a domain expansion would be able to neutralize the curse technique and take someone away. A lot of the curse techniques in A would probably just effectively completely override the cockroach manipulation. Really, the only thing that puts it, I think, above B would be the revival, the immortality. Yeah, Elias said it is too. The A tier because of immortality. I think that's literally the only thing that keeps it like above B tier, if we're being honest. Like, other than that, most techniques in A would completely eradicate it. Actually, Hanami probably wouldn't have such of an easy time, except being able to use a domain expansion. We'll put Kurorushi at the bottom of A for cockroach manipulation, because although it doesn't have the same pros as element manipulation, the immortality is pretty OP, which is definitely what keeps it up there. Now, Mahito as a whole, I saw someone in chat literally say, why the fuck are there 3 Mahitos? They're all the same curse technique. I completely agree with that. This is a character tier list. There weren't any specific curse technique tier lists, which is sad. That's fine though. We make do with what we can, right? So that being said, definitely Idol Transfiguration is S tier. I don't think I have to argue that too much. What puts Idol Transfiguration above things like element manipulation, lightning manipulation, deadly sentencing is pure and utter hacks, right? Like, with Idol Transfiguration, just focusing on yourself, to be completely honest with you, right? Just if you were to focus on yourself as a whole, the things that you can do to yourself with Idol Transfiguration are kind of OP. The fact that that basically means that unless your soul is damaged, you're almost immortal to a certain degree. Any kind of damage that you take or any kind of curse energy output attacks that you get hit with, you can completely just recover from, because you control your soul. Your body is just an extension of your soul, and as long as your soul isn't damaged, you can just remake your body. You can shapeshift your body, transform, you know, you can shrink, you can enlarge yourself. You're basically Mr. Fantastic, but also be able to control turn yourself into different animals, fly, swim. Like, just, you need to look no further than that small sequence of Mahito versus Mekamaru when Mahito is running away from Pigeon Viola and is literally just changing and shapeshifting into all these different fucking animals and at a dime, no problem whatsoever. So it makes you very versatile. You're capable of a lot of different fucking things. just when it comes to close quarters combat, you again have nigh immortality, pure versatility and utility with your body, and that doesn't have anything to do with the fact of the things you can do to other people. On one touch, you can completely manipulate someone's soul. To the point, not only can you kill someone, you can completely manipulate their body, you can shapeshift them. You can just literally explode someone's soul with no hope, as we see Mahito do to Nanami, we see him do it to Nobara. We even see him just pure on shapeshift and kill people just for fun, like he does in the theater scene upon introduction. Idle Transfiguration is able to turn other people into sorcerers by manipulating their brain stems. Frankly, there is just a number of infinite possibilities when it comes to Mahito. Mahito is clearly an S tier rank, although it's not reality warping and it doesn't extinguish other curse techniques. Just the OP and hacks nature of it in general makes it an S tier, without doubt. And it even has a domain expansion, which self-embodiment of perfection means Mahito doesn't even have to get his hands on you. As soon as you're caught in the domain expansion, you're fucked and you're destroyed. He kills you. Talk about a one-hit KO for sure. Which means he stands up against all the other curse techniques without domain expansions, and can tug of war other characters that do have domains. Now, moving right along, we're gonna use Curse Naoya as the basically poster child of projection sorcery, because not only is projection sorcery fully utilized to its fullest extent with Curse Naoya, we also see projection sorcery's domain expansion with Curse Naoya. So just to go over projection sorcery as a baseline, projection sorcery is one of the most confusing curse techniques as a whole in the entire series. Why? I couldn't really tell you. Hikari kind of dethroned projection sorcery as being a confusing curse technique. No one really complains about projection sorcery now. And I'm curious to see how they explain it in the anime with that coming up soon. But basically, by reducing 1 second to 24 frames as using the rule of animation, by reducing 1 second to 24 frames, the curse user of projection sorcery can basically map out a set of 24 movements throughout that entire second. So for example, if I'm Naoya and I'm fighting a person, I can say, all right, pause this 1 second. In this 1 second, I'm going to move 24 times, move around all these different points and put myself in the perfect place to hit you. And you, person I'm fighting, are gonna do these different things in this entire second. The moment your victim does not follow the path that you laid out for them, which frankly, in the victim's generosity, it's kind of hard when you don't know or can see the path that is laid out for you. You have no idea what you're supposed to do, which makes it super hard to kind of stop that projection freezing. If you go against the 24 frame map that Naoya lays out for you, you get frozen for that entire second, which is shown as you becoming a freeze frame or the projection, frame that's seen from the curse technique. It's seen when Naobito does it to Dagon. It's seen when Naoya turns Maki into that during their fight. Also, you can then do that to yourself because you can cover long distances with those 24 plot points. Like you can go from point A to point B, whether that point B has multiple miles in between, super quickly as long as you map out your movements correctly. Which means Naoya and Naobito are some of the fastest sorcerers in all of Jujutsu because they can just go super quick. Naoya was even seen doubling this acceleration up multiple times over, doubling it, to the point he's able to reach Mach speed and just outright break reality with the speed he's able to put onto himself. Because he gets a boost from the first projection, and then carrying that boost into the second projection, he just goes further and further and further, which lets him achieve maximum speed levels. So not only are you super fast and allows you to just completely blitz people, you're able to perception blitz people on a whole nother level because they don't know the map you're setting out for themselves and they get frozen, which fucks them over and makes them completely vulnerable for all of the things that these projection sorcery users are trying to fuck you up with. That being said, the domain expansion is even one step above this, because literally it breaks the projection or the freeze frame down to the cellular level, which means not just you as a whole, but every cell in your body is frozen in place. And instead of you, when you move and go against the map, instead of you freezing, your cells all substantially freeze in place, which basically means when you move, your body literally just comes apart entirely. Just full on comes apart because your body is literally unable to stay together all in that moment. Which is why you see characters like Mayo and Dido when they get stuck in the Time Moon Cell Palace or something that it's called, their bodies literally just crumble apart and blood just starts seeping from every orifice because their cells are literally just being eviscerated from the inside. The domain expansion of projection sorcery is fully and completely OP. It definitely is A tier. It's almost impossible to dodge unless you're someone like Maki, who has just the pure perception and extrasensory to realize the 24 frames per second and catch on to it, because most people aren't going to be able to do that. So you figure, honestly, I'm willing to put projection sorcery on top of the domain in S tier. I'm willing to put it in S tier. The domain expansion just definitely moves it up to S tier without a doubt. Without the domain expansion, I think it would be top tier A, but the domain just makes it that much more OP. Yeah, domain expansion, misogyny, without a doubt. That's pretty much all there is to it. Next, we have Curse Spirit Manipulation, which in my eyes is a great curse technique. Would I put Curse Spirit Manipulation in S? Let's decide, guys. Let's talk about this. Now, what makes Curse Spirit Manipulation so damn OP is overall, you almost have unlimited potential. You are able to absorb curse spirits and just completely add them to your arsenal. Just completely use their own curse techniques as your own. Like, excuse me, we see Geto literally steal curse spirits, like the Rainbow Dragon, who have the strongest hide of all curse spirits. Kuchisaki Ono, who have insane domain expansions. Kenjaku is able to take advantage of Smallpox Deity, able to take advantage of that Asian elephant curse that is literally the Ganesha curse, which is able to literally just remove obstacles from their path. You can use their curse technique, use them as a meat shield. Like, there's so many different things you can do with Curse Spirit Manipulation. We also see Kenjaku use Curse Spirit Manipulation in an entirely higher tier way than Geto ever did by enhancing low-level curse spirits with cursed energy to make them able to even deal with grade 1 sorcerers like Choso. So, like, not even are you able to pull yourself together and use high-level curse spirits with domain expansions and hacks curse techniques of their own, you are literally also able to empower low-level curse spirits so they do significant damage to your enemies. It's good for offense, it's good for defense, it's good for, frankly, a lot of fucking different things. The one and only downside that honestly I have to say that I would think probably keeps it from being purely just an OP level of destruction like Takaba, Angel, and Mahito would be the fact that it kind of suffers from the same downside as Reggie's curse technique suffers from. You can do all these awesome different things, but unless you can actually occupy and collect all of these awesome different cursed spirits, same with contractual recreation, if you cannot, just frankly cannot collect all of these cursed spirits, what are you gonna do? If you're not a powerful sorcerer on your own and able to beat special grade sorcerers or special grade cursed spirits, you're not gonna be able to collect those special grade cursed spirits. So I think that's a really good downside and a reason for it to stay in S. It's probably top tier A, but I think because of that downside, and if we're basing it off of technique without users buffing their techniques up, being generous to curse spirit manipulation, I don't think it can get S. I think it can get A, probably top of A, because curse spirit manipulation is versatile, one of the best, you know, curse techniques you can have. There's a reason why it gives you special grade level just for having it. I unfortunately don't think it's a get it and you win curse technique like Idle Transfiguration or the Comedian are. Haruta's curse technique, the luck curse user. The luck curse user. A lot of people are saying D, a lot of people are saying F, E. So let's be generous. I know a lot of people don't like Haruta. I know a lot of people have personal vendettas against Haruta as a character. I mean, the man literally just got his ass beat by Nanami. Like, just got his ass handed to him by Nanami. No problem. We see what happens when you have a curse technique that can be OP, like luck, and being able, or like the miracle curse technique, I think it's specifically called, where literally if you die, you don't die, you survive. All you do is get lucky until you run out of marks. Now, one thing I think we need to find out for sure in order to classify this curse technique would be, do the marks come back? Like, if you lose 5 marks and you only got 1 left, do you gain those 5 marks back over time? Like, if I go to sleep and I don't fight anyone for like a month, do I gain my marks back? Or am I born with 6 marks, my Titan marks? And then literally that's it? Like, I don't ever gain them again and I only have 6 chances to die in my life. I'm like a cat. You know, I have like my 9 lives, and once I run out, that's it. Watch Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish. That's literally your only way out of it. They do come back. You gain them again. Seems like you do gain them back. But again, this is a curse technique that, I mean, if you have someone smart, you'll probably be, and strong. Like, if you're a strong fighter and you don't get killed that often, having that luck, that miracle come in where you can actually survive in the last second. Like, if you're a character like Sukuna and you never die, like you always beat your opponents, and that one chance, like, imagine if Gojo had this curse technique, right? He only lost once in his life against Sukuna. That would have came in handy for the world bisecting slash. It's like, hey, you killed me. Cool. I've still got 5 more lives, Sukuna. Let's put them up. Throw your dukes up. Let's go. I know what I'm coming up against now. Like, that would be OP. So instead of basing it off of Haruta, let's base Haruta's curse technique off of legitimately what luck and miracles can do. Like, I'm not going to give the luck technique an A, because again, if you're not OP or strong on your own, you're not going to be able to utilize this. Like, you'll lose all of your marks just from Nanami beating your ass. You know what I mean? Actually, it probably goes down to C tier. I would be honest with you. Like, I would probably like if I had a choice between Ryu's curse technique of like just being able to like fucking launch strong curse energy blasts, and like having 6 chances to die before I actually get fucked up, I'd probably choose getting I'd probably choose having 6 chances to die before I chose just having a Pompadour that fired laser beams. So yeah, I'll put it in C tier. It has the chance to be OP. Like if, like again, let's say if Sukuna or Gojo had the miracle technique, it would be pretty OP, but unless you're born with just perfect genetics. I mean, genetics, they play a lot. This is the only time eugenics matters, okay? I'm just kidding. YouTube, don't demonetize me for that dumb joke. Void Dead, thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate the dono. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a good day up watching that Mei Mei walk on repeat. Yo, they did my girl justice in that anime episode, bro. I am so happy that they put an obscene amount of effort into probably one of the most forgettable portions of Shibuya. That small moment of Nanami just breaking Haruta's fucking nose. And though I do like the Mei Mei introduction, Mei Mei explaining how she got so OP, I think they did a great job. I liked it. I was very happy with what they did. Med, thank you so much for the $5 again. I appreciate all that support. The marks do come back. When he has non-curse technique, good luck, he forgets those events and they're traded for the marks. Ah, okay, he like stores the miracles, right? That's what it is. He stores the miracles. I'm pretty sure what it is. Like when he like checks the clock and he sees 11:11, like that stores up. And he's not entirely sure how many marks he has, but I think that also stems from Haruta not really understanding his curse technique. Like it's the same to like how like I think certain characters, you either understand it or you don't. Like it's very common for that. Hey, China Doll, thank you so much for the 5 gifted members. I appreciate that love and support. Thank you guys all for being here. Moving on to Junpei's curse technique. I think it's pretty obvious. Junpei's curse technique is a straight up D. Man barely had a curse technique. It was literally just a jellyfish Shikigami that literally poisonous. Like Itadori was able to mollywop Junpei with little to no experience as a whole. I did get asked to do member sponsored content where I'll be going over what Junpei's full potential could possibly be if he survived the Mahito arc and actually became a sorcerer and made it into Shibuya. So I will talk a little bit about that in a video in the future, but just to move right on, I mean, yeah, Moondrag, a poisonous jellyfish Shikigami that like any grade 1 sorcerer like Nanami could probably just combust with a giant fucking punch. Yeah, I'm sorry, not doing shit. I would literally rather have a Pompadour that fired curse energy lasers than Junpei's curse technique. I literally would tell Mahito, can I have this back and you try again? Like, this shit kind of sucked, bro. Juzo doesn't have any curse techniques. He just makes curse tools. Miguel, do you want to consider the black rope a curse tool or a curse technique? We can consider the black rope a curse technique, I guess. I'd probably put the black rope, like, it extinguishes curse techniques, but if you're not strong, I mean, you're fucked. Yeah, put it right in C tier with the rest of these motherfuckers, honestly. Right in C tier with the rest of these motherfuckers. Miguel is A if black rope. It's able to scramble a curse technique like limitless, but again, like angel light, exactly. All right, so black rope's a curse tool. Let's not even discuss it. Let's just move on. I'm more willing to keep that. Kenjaku's gravity curse technique, anti-gravity and regular gravity. I think he kind of sits at the same level as I would put like the elemental curse techniques for. Gravity is very similar to like being able to control fire and water and just all those different things as a whole. Like if you are literally able to just conjure a force of nature that just crushes you, like even though we see it's in Kenjaku's domain expansion, it still counts. Kenjaku hits Yuki with enough gravity that is literally able to mangle her body wholeheartedly. and just completely put it and twist it into pieces. The anti-gravity was also able to give him the chance to survive a black hole from Yuki. Gravity is just OP. Frankly, very OP. I think it probably would sit at a higher level than A, if I'm being honest with you, simply because I think whatever your curse spirit is, whatever your lightning is, whatever your fire is, your elemental skills, your water, like gravity would just throw all that shit to the ground and beat that shit instantly. Like, I do think gravity would probably be a higher tier than elements themselves. Like cockroaches, not doing shit. Fire, not doing shit. Like, none of that is working against gravity. And considering that, again, you have the anti-gravity that's able to reverse even a black hole, I think we don't even have to discuss too much to the point that, yes, gravity is just absolutely OP. And we've even seen it in other animes and manga series where gravity curse techniques, I'm not even a One Piece fan, but doesn't fucking Whitebeard have gravity and he's just one of the strongest pirates of all time? Gravity is insane, and definitely sits in S tier for sure. I'd probably put it even above a lot of the other curse techniques in S. I don't think it's don't even think it's much of a difference. Oh, Whitebeard controls earthquakes. I'm sorry, but can he like make earthquakes in the air? I don't watch One Piece. I preface that so you can't even be mad at me. A lot of people are saying this. I don't even know who Fujitora is. I am sorry for even bringing up One Piece because I don't know what I'm talking about, and clearly everyone they're jumping. Yo, people came out of the woodworks for that. Some of you motherfuckers haven't chatted this entire stream, and you started jumping in. Being like, whoa, that's not Whitebeard. Whoa, that character is weak. I'm cracking up. But yeah, Kenjaku gravity manipulation is S tier for sure. Moving on, Orame ice manipulation. Again, when it comes to elemental curse techniques, they are above most else. I don't think that's even crazy to say. Especially with the way that Orame's used, their ice manipulation. Their maximum output frost calm is literally able to hold back an awakened Maki. Their ice fall was able to literally incapacitate and almost kill half a dozen sorcerers at the end of Shibuya. People sleep on Orame, and people have been talking shit about Orame. I don't respect the Orame slander whatsoever. I think y'all need to chill. You guys are definitely out of your fucking minds, in my honest opinion. I think when it comes down to it, I think, again, element curse techniques are probably some of the most OP curse techniques in the series. And the only people that will ever beat curse techniques like that are, again, hacks like gravity, which is just a higher element in my honest opinion. Projection sorcery, idle transfiguration, reality bending, and extinguishing of all curse techniques. Just like literally one and done, like press play to win curse techniques. You know what I mean? Projection sorcery is kind of like an anomaly, honestly, on the S tier. Ranked on the S tier. I'm wondering if people will argue with me or make me change that in the future. But again, its domain expansion really levels it up from what it used to be. Like, projection sorcery is definitely an A tier without a doubt, but its domain expansion really just levels it up. As far as I think Toji just represents heavenly restriction as a whole, having absolute zero cursed energy. And I think while not making that an S tier, I think it's pretty obvious that heavenly restriction should at least put you in B tier. I see a lot of people saying it should be an A tier. I think we're gonna have to have a little bit of a discussion about heavenly restriction before we decide on putting it on A or B. I guess just having the absolute 0 cursed energy maximizes your stats as a whole. I was gonna say that you have to be like a madman like Toji or Maki to fully utilize your heavenly restriction. Because my argument was gonna be, right, that like Toji is clearly buff as fuck. Maki is clearly buff as fuck. Like these motherfuckers hit the gym, right? You know, they're lifting weights, they're doing their cardio, you know, they're training every day because they don't have the curse energy output to do serious damage to sorcerers. It's part of the reason why Ogi is easily able to dismantle Maki before she awakens, because she's just a sorcerer at the end of the day. Any sorcerer can reinforce their body with curse energy and probably do it higher and do it better than most average people. It's the full-on having 0 cursed energy that maximizes your attack power, maximizes your durability. You're basically on steroids 24/7. You become invisible to people that sense cursed energy. Toji's immune to Kenjaku's brain swapping. You're actually, yeah, you know what? I would put you at A tier just specifically because you're immune to domain expansions. I think that in itself is probably what levels it up to A tier. Because again, the added strength, the added durability, the added speed, all the stat boosts definitely put you on a level where you can fight most sorcerers on equal ground. Like again, like although I know a lot of people argue if Toji could beat someone like Jogo because their fire manipulation is just that destructive. If Toji, Arame, I was just saying, is able to literally hold back an incapacitated Toji. Or an incapacitated Maki fully awakened heavenly restriction. So the elements do stop you. But I think what probably puts you at A is going to be, again, being able to completely ignore domain expansions. You're going to be able to, at the same time, regen, as people are saying in chat. You do have a little bit of regen capability, so you don't need reverse curse technique. And again, you don't have to hit the gym because being a heavenly restriction at this level just completely maximizes your humanity. You also have enhanced sentences, enhanced hearing, enhanced seeing, enhanced smell, all these different things. So I think it's pretty easy to say that, yeah, I think heavenly restriction probably puts you at a much higher tier than most other warriors. I think that's easy to say, so. Undetectable for most sorcerers. We don't say that you get any curse tools. I'm not going to immediately just give people curse tools. I don't think that's fair. But what I will definitely do, I will definitely say that, again, you get the invisible man tactics, you get the regen, you get the domain ignoring, all that good stuff. I'm evaluating curse spirit manipulation differently from every other. I don't think so. If you're saying CMS, I don't know if you're saying curse spirit manipulation, but no, I mean, projection sorcery, you're literally born with the OP innate ability to map things out into 24 frames. And then you're just able to completely freeze people that don't follow your movements. So you really don't need. Whereas if you're born with cursed spirit manipulation, if you take on a special grade spirit with no curses, you're fucked. So I think that point stands on its own. Atsuya has no curse technique. We already rated Toji. Gaku Kanji, because I think we talked about heavenly restriction as much as we possibly can. I don't think there's anything more we need to reiterate. I think it's pretty obvious that heavenly restriction sits at A. Just because of the domain ignoring. Otherwise, I would have put it at B. Gaku Kanji with the guitar and the human amplifier curse technique. I think it's pretty easily safe to say Gaku Kanji doesn't go any higher than Ishiguri Ryu, because at the end of the day, all you're doing is taking your cursed energy, amplifying it, and then rocketing it out at people. Which, again, if Ishiguri has the highest cursed energy output in all of time, and Granite Blast and Cursed Energy Blast is not cutting it to even be in C tier. I think it's pretty obvious that we're gonna put Gaku Kanji just being a human amplifier and just being cool with his little guitar. Honestly, if he didn't have the guitar, I'd put him in an E. I'd put him in fucking E. Moving on, we've got Gojo. And actually, I will put pre-reverse curse technique Gojo up there, because what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use this to rate the Limitless and the Six Eyes as two separate curse techniques. Obviously, we know Gojo becomes the monster and the enlightened one because he has both. By using reverse curse technique, he's literally able to just completely, constantly heal himself and revive his curse energy to where he can keep the Limitless up in full time and optimize the Limitless so he doesn't have to basically manually detect what can go through the Limitless and what can't. So pre-reverse curse technique Gojo is going to basically represent the Limitless as a whole. Now, the Limitless as a whole is still OP. Being born with the Limitless, even without the Six Eyes, you do have, obviously, cooldown. It's going to completely just erase your cursed energy a lot, no problem. Even with the Six Eyes, Gojo was only able to hold up the Six Eyes of the Limitless shield for like 2 days straight. Without reverse curse technique. So without the Six Eyes, you are probably going to only be able to use Limitless for at least one battle at a time. Like, you're not going to be able to hold it up for long. However, you're still going to be able to bounce people against you. You're still going to be able to block most curse techniques. However, again, the Limitless is only able to specifically use such certain defenses against like poisons, gas, and other things at an atomic level because of the Six Eyes. The Limitless does include blue and red, so we're going to include that as well. His aura was able to destroy a special grade curse spear, right? Putting that Limitless in that negative space and being able to control the infinite space between you and the world is definitely pretty OP. I mean, let's be honest here. Six Eyes itself. All right, so Limitless is definitely an S tier. Dude, both Six Eyes is pretty strong. You can basically immediately deduce anyone's curse technique at a moment's glance. You can basically perfectly reverse curse technique himself. You never run out of cursed energy. Like, even if there was a character that just had the Six Eyes without the Limitless, they'd be fucking OP. Like, just having the Six Eyes in general means you have basically unlimited cursed energy. You have a high stock of cursed energy, and you can basically immediately deduce every opponent that you're fighting's curse technique and what they're going to do at a time. Now, Limitless, you're basically tied by the amount of curse energy that you have, tied by the amount of deduction and intelligence you have to use the Limitless technique. So even though you're born with the Limitless, if you're not an OP person like Gojo, the Limitless isn't going to help you as much as it would help someone like Gojo. The Limitless is definitely an OP curse technique. Even being born with it and not knowing how to use it, you'd probably be able to do some significant damage. But what makes the Limitless an OP curse technique is the Six Eyes. The Six Eyes is gonna take whatever you have and immediately make it OP. Like, imagine Jogo was fire manipulation with the Six Eyes. You would immediately be an OP fire manipulator because you would never run out of curse energy and just be able to burn people with Infernos instantly and forever. So I'm gonna die on this hill. I think the Limitless is an awesome curse technique, definitely befitting A tier. But I think if you don't have the Six Eyes to back it up and make it its full potential, then you're not gonna happen. I'm picking and choosing. I mean, I guess if you want to say I'm picking and choosing, I think that's what happens when you're rating curse techniques on curse techniques in general and not on the people. If I'm not rating Gojo and Gojo's Limitless. I'm rating the Limitless as a curse technique, which means I'm rating people like Gojo having the Limitless And people like babies having the limitless. If people like babies have the limitless, they're not going to be able to use hollow purple. You know what I mean? Because they don't have the 6 eyes that allows them to use limitless to its full ability. If you misunderstand the limitless, that's fine. That's not my problem. Anyway, moving on to Hikari's curse technique, which is very similar to Higuruma's curse technique, in which that Higuruma's curse technique again completely goes with his domain expansion. Now, if you are able to catch someone in the domain expansion, your curse Hikari is able to access and gain Jackpot. Jackpot basically gives you unlimited reverse curse technique. It gives you unlimited attack power. Like for 4 minutes and 11 seconds, you are literally unkillable and super strong. However, the downside to Hikari's curse technique is literally that it is luck based. And if you go up against someone, like let's say for example, you're a Hikari going up against someone like Gojo, you use your domain expansion on them. If that person is able to cancel out your domain expansion with their own domain expansion, not only do you not get all the added benefits of your domain expansion, you're gonna get mollywopped before the jackpot even occurs. Like if Gojo didn't even activate his domain expansion, right? And Gojo just fought Hikari in neutral inside the domain, Gojo would still whoop that ass. You know what I mean? Gojo would still whip that ass. The whole point of why Hikari's domain expansion is OP is because Hikari is OP. Hikari is an insane warrior that was even able to, inside of a domain expansion, fight someone like Orame. So that says a lot about his power. If you're not able to keep up with the person you trap inside your domain expansion, let alone if it takes you, what, 50 fucking times to hit a jackpot, you're basically just wasting time and, you know, spending hours and days trying to hit a domain expansion, wasting your cursed energy for an immortality buff that may never happen. I'm willing to put, because of the immortality and because if you do it, jackpot, you just become an absolute fucking madman. I'm willing to put Hikari's curse technique in A for sure. And the overall amount of times, the fact that you can, if you hit jackpot and after the 4 minutes and 11 seconds are up, you can literally just domain again and continue the cycle. Very similar to what the 6 eyes let you do, where you can just continually fighting and never stop. That's going to be a huge advantage as well. But again, if you're fighting a sorcerer that has domain expansion, a sorcerer that is able to, you know, fight you on equal terms while you're waiting to get jackpot, there's going to be a lot of different fucking instances where your curse technique does not help people. So while I think jackpot has a lot of potential, I think it's one of those curse techniques that, again, unless you have everything going for you or you get set up against a good matchup, you potentially can really get fucked. Like, it's not an instant win curse technique like some of the tiers in S are. Like, some of the characters in S are like instant wins without a doubt. Like, you are winning without a doubt. There's no doubt about it. Moving on, we've got Junichi, who, I mean, his curse technique is what? Just summoning a bunch of gigantic fucking fists. Literally, we don't even get what his curse technique is called. We see it get used once, and Maki just cuts his head off, no problem, in the middle of the storm of fists. Like, I think we can kind of put Junichi's curse technique on the same level as characters like Ishigori, Gakukanji, Junpei, and Kachizu. Literally, just pointless curse techniques that no one fucking wants. It's literally wasteful. I couldn't even think of a specific reason that I would want the fucking, you know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid. It's just dumb. Oh, did they release DLC for Final Fantasy 16? Or no? Oh, okay. I got excited for a second. I saw the ad in the corner was showing DLC. But yeah, I don't even think we need to talk about it much. Fucking D, waste of time. The fist destroyed the Zedian village. I mean, I'm just saying now, I don't think you should include domain expansion since you yourself say that it's based on the average person. The average person doesn't have a domain. Well, I have to use the full potential of the curse technique to rank it. I think it's kind of unfair. I think it's kind of unfair to say that to break curse techniques without their domain, because the domain expansion is the fullest extent of that person's curse technique. But that's just me. If you disagree, I don't know. I'm gonna put Junichi in D. Again, I would rather have the ability to fly, the ability to have luck and survive. Like, if I just move out of the way, what are a bunch of fists gonna fucking do? Nothing. Like, if I'm Haruta, I can survive the fists. If I have Wing King, I can fly out of the way. If I'm Reggie, I'll summon a Mack truck in my way. D tier curse technique, lame. Moving right along from that, we've got Kirara, which with curse technique, love rendezvous, which, I mean, I'm willing to put love rendezvous in B tier. Hear me out and don't get mad at me in chat, because I know there's going to be a bunch of you guys that might disagree with me here. The reason why I would put love rendezvous in B over C is because of its its high level of entry to beat. Like, if you have fucking frankly no idea what the hell love rendezvous and the star constellations, Southern Constellation even is, you are frankly fucked. Like, if I'm fighting Kirara and if I'm higher than Kirara in every single stat imaginable that you could probably think of, then I'll be honest with you, you still might be fucked, because if I mark something over there and I'm able to set everything up, you're never going to be able to beat me. You are never coming up to me and beating me. Kirara's curse technique really can be OP. Megami literally only beat it because Megami knew about the Southern Constellations. If Megami didn't know about the Southern Constellations, they probably would have lost just by a battle of attrition. They would have died by starvation. You can also mark different things with your curse technique. Like, you can, like, as we see, Kirara marks different cars and uses that to then fling full-on cars at her enemies that can be marked. Kirara, the one downside of Kirara's curse technique is that you actually have to touch things to mark them with your cursed energy. So although you can set up your trap pretty quickly and set up your whole different marks and different stars in Southern Constellations to mess people up very soon. One, you have the downside of you have to set everything up. And two, again, you have to make physical contact with the things you're marking with your cursed energy. So that's a downside, unfortunately. But either way, I think it definitely sits in a B tier because it has a pretty high level of entry. Like, there are a lot of ways I can see a lot of characters on this list not having any know-how or way to actually beat Kirara's curse technique and love rendezvous. So RIP. Med, thank you so much for the $5 again. I sincerely appreciate that. Domains are full-on insta losses against Heavenly Restriction. Maki was invisible to Naoya until she decided to spawn in and instantly backstab him. Yep, part of the reason why I think Heavenly Restriction gets to A tier while a lot of other techniques are going to sit down in B, C, and D is because Heavenly Restriction literally just ignores curse techniques completely. Without a single doubt in mind, like, just ignores it entirely. So yeah, that's that. And Horace, thank you so much for the dono. I appreciate those Canadian dollars. Thank you all so much for the big bucks. I appreciate your love and support. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button on stream, guys. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. I think Curse Spirit Manipulation isn't S tier. It has no limit. Again, I understand that it has no limit. Curse Spirit Manipulation is being judged on the fact that you don't just wake up and have all these curse spirits on deck. You wake up as a fodder curse Jujutsu sorcerer, and if you have no curse spirits and go up against a special grade curse spirit with no spirits of your own, you're fucked. You have to build that up. So there's a level to entry here, which makes it drop down a tier. Otherwise, yeah, that's why it's an A. It's super strong. You know what I mean? All right, guys, let's keep moving up quick. I maybe want to finish this in about a half hour or so. But you just said evaluating them at full power. Listen, if you're unable to understand how evaluating a curse technique at full power while also understanding that you don't just get dropped down into the Fortnite map with that full power, and like that's like saying that Reggie just like if we were to use that, let me humor the people in chat because I'm going to ignore you, but let me humor you in chat for 2 seconds. If we're going to go off that criteria, then Reggie should be S tier because Reggie can just have every single receipt from the entire world and can summon literally nuclear warheads, every single nuke under the sun and from birth and just beat everybody. You're right. Edgy's S tier now. Reggie actually beats Angel because we're ranking them off full power. So we're just giving them everything they can do from the start. You're right. Ghetto should be S tier because Ghetto can literally have every single curse spirit in the entire series. So Ghetto is literally coming into the fight with literally Jogo, Mahito, every single curse spirit in the entire world. And actually, we're going to give him all the powers of the merging curse spirit because he has full power. You're right. We don't even know what the merging curse spirit can do, but we're going to assume that he can just curse spirit manipulate him. So obviously, guys, he's just S tier. Do you see how that falls apart from the very beginning? Like, do you see how there has to be some level of barrier to entry for this to make any sense whatsoever? Thank you. That's my 1 cent. Anyway, moving on to construction. Is my voice shot? Yeah, my voice is starting to go simply because I've been doing this for about 2 hours now. Most normal streams, I'm not talking all this much. I'm like interacting with chat and going over the chapter panels and letting, you know, there be a little bit. I've been talking for like almost 2 hours straight. So my voice is going after this. I apologize. That being said, moving on again, I don't think Yorozu's in this. So I'm just going to use Mai as the poster child for construction. Construction is probably B tier if I had to say anything. I cannot in the right mind put construction in A tier, just because there's so many downsides to construction. I do need Toge's throat medicine. You're so right. Construction, you're completely bound by your cursed energy, meaning that unless you're Yorozu, who has spent all your time and energy making sure you can efficiently use that cursed energy, you're kind of fucked. But again, using Yorozu's build to show the full power of the curse technique, even if you efficiently use your cursed energy to a degree, I mean, you do get the metal sand construction, you do get the insect armor construction, which gives you the power to fight someone like 15 finger Sukuna on equal ground to a certain degree. Like, you do have the ability to have awesome attack feats, awesome defense feats, and you can basically construct whatever the fuck you want as long as it's not a curse tool. You can give your life up to create a curse tool, which is what Yorozu did to create Kamutake, Sukuna's old curse tool. However, again, construction is kind of like a lesser grade elemental ability because you can do a lot of different things with it. Again, you can build armor, you can create liquid, and the biggest thing it has going for it is domain expansion, which construction's domain expansion was said after creating perfect sphere to literally just vaporize whatever the fuck is inside its domain expansion. So unless you're a character that has your own domain to combat that, or you're a character that has the 10 shadows that can adapt and beat out, construction is a very strong curse technique. Super duper fucking strong. It has a lot of different abilities. However, I think its major downsides are, again, the person's creativity that you have with it. Being able to fully optimize your cursed energy to use it correctly. And unfortunately, it comes down to the ability of the... You know what? I'll give it A tier. Would I give it A tier? It's A with all those abilities. Yorozu really showed off how good it could be. Can you use Perfect Spear without a domain, though? Because that would put it in an A tier for me. The problem with Perfect Spear without the domain is what gives it the instant hit. Creating the Perfect Spear outside the domain means you just have to throw the spear around and hope it hits someone. And the problem that gets shown with construction, yeah, high B. Because the problem that gets shown is like, it's not the same as like the fire, where if you get hit with fire, you're fucked. If your Yorozu or Mai hits you with an iron sand spear, you can either have the durability to, you know, dodge it. Like, it's not the same thing as like water, fire, or like, well, yeah, I'm gonna put it in B tier. Put it in B tier. Probably top of B tier, almost A tier, you know, but doesn't make it. Sorry. I know I'm gonna have people in chat that fight me on that, but that's fine. Let's go through this. We've got the 10 Shadows technique, which is definitely, without a doubt, it's gonna be top of A. Top of A for 10 Shadows technique, without a doubt. I would not put... Now, let's talk about it. Would we put 10 Shadows in S tier? That's what I think is going to be the major discussion here, is if 10 Shadows goes into S or A. The 10 Shadows technique is probably going to stay at the top of A, just because it has some of the downsides that a lot of the other curse techniques have, in which you do have to tame all of the Shikigami. You have to go... there was a tweet that me and Ronan kind of talked about a little bit beforehand. It was on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. There was a tweet going around where it was like, would you rather have the Limitless and the 6 Eyes or the 10 Shadows? The Limitless and the 6 Eyes are awesome curse techniques because as soon as you're born, you are born with the power to be an S-class sorcerer. You're born with the power to be top tier in the verse. With 10 Shadows, you have the potential to be top in the verse, but you're not born top in the verse. You have to tame all of your Shikigami. And granted, Sukuna was literally the only character we have ever seen be able to actually use Maharaga, right? Maharaga correctly. Almost any 10 Shadows user was not able to tame Maharaga. Literally impossible to tame it, and Sukuna only tamed it because he had 2 curse techniques that was able to overwhelm Maharaga in the first place. So there are a couple downsides to the 10 Shadows technique. You have to be able to be strong enough to actually use all of it. However, when using all of it, Maharaga is an insane adaptable curse technique that is able to contend with the Limitless and the 6 Eyes. It's able to neutralize curse techniques similar to the way the domain expansion does. You have all the different abilities of the Shikigami. You've got Max Elephant, Rabbit Escape. You've got Divine Dog Totality, Nue with the giant lightning bolt attacks. You can use a lot of the different things that some of the people in the A category can use. You're able to hide yourself in and out of your shadow for durability feats. You're able to use some of the abilities of the Shikigami without summoning them, as we see Sukuna can literally use Max Elephant's Water Stream and a Piercing Blood kind of aspect without even having Max Elephant out on the field. So, and with Maharaga's adaptability and with the domain expansion, you're right. 10 Shadows becomes S tier. 10 Shadows is S tier. The domain expansion and the 120% boost to its ability, being able to summon shadow clones, being able to multiply your Shikigami, trap people inside the domain, trap people inside your shadow and keep them in there forever. There's so many different things the 10 Shadows can do. For all of its downsides and the fact, and Maharaga is definitely what puts it in S tier. You know what I mean? Maharaga, just the fact that you can adapt to any and all phenomena is an insane technique on its own. It's an insane technique on its own, and I don't think it's that crazy to say it would probably sit in S tier. It's the lowest S tier in the world. If 10 Shadows is S tier, the Curse Spirit Manipulation is S tier. That's fair. That's fair. That's actually a fair argument because Curse Spirit Manipulation. Yep, all right. 10 Shadows, top of A. You convinced me. 10 Shadows, top of A. 10 Shadows, top of A. I have to keep it consistent. Have to keep it consistent. Moving on, we are gonna have Mei, which Mei and bird manipulation is a tough curse technique to weigh. I probably feel safer putting it in C tier because despite the fact that Bird Strike is super fucking powerful, Bird Strike is what makes me change my mind on a lot of things. But even then, you know what? Bird Strike is probably what puts it in C tier, if anything, right? Because other than that, just being able to share your vision with crows and everything like that is probably just D. But Bird Strike is what ups it up, being able to make those crows give their lives for you and then fire them and be enough to able to kill a special grade in certain instances. Yeah, I think instead of saying that bird manipulation is C with Bird Strike moving it into B, I think Bird Strike or bird manipulation is in D and Bird Strike moves it into C. Barely into C, mind you. Like, Bird Strike is literally only bumping it up to C because it does have the attack to kill a special grade in one hit. Like, that doesn't go unnoticed for sure. Does not go unnoticed without a doubt. Hey, Boku no Color is here. What's up? Everyone show some love to Boku no Color. Man does awesome work in the manga coloring department. He's an awesome artist. I actually am gonna put his Twitter in chat right now. Go follow him if you like awesome manga coloring or if you like some of my thumbnails. He does awesome thumbnails, guys. He's awesome. Go check him out. I just posted his link for Twitter in chat. And also, you know what? While we're at it and while I'm talking about Twitter, go follow me on Twitter if you're new. If you haven't followed me on Twitter and you want to get some of my unfiltered thoughts on Jujutsu Kaisen, Sakamoto Days, Chainsaw Man, and just life in general, follow me on Twitter. Link is in chat, guys. Link is in chat for sure. Also, while I'm shilling, guys, I do also have, if you're not aware of this, I have a second channel. I have an entirely separate channel. It's called No More Operator. I just started posting on it. I actually posted a new video today. So if you haven't noticed that I've been posting on a secondary channel, I have been trying to get daily uploads on this channel. Daily uploads. That's not a joke. Daily fucking uploads. So if you like No Operator content and you want more of it and you're tired of waiting for me to release just these main channel videos, you can check out a bunch of videos that will hopefully be uploading almost daily on No Operator 2, which I just posted the link in the chat. Go check it out. And I think the name was pretty cool. No Operator. Channel 2 is No More Operator. I think that was pretty clever. But thanks for my shill, guys. Like the stream if you haven't already. Mei is definitely C tier because of Bird Strike. RIP. All right, next up, let's go through this pretty quick, guys. I want to finish in 2.5 hours. We have some doubles here. Let's see if I can actually just move and get all the doubles out of here. Have the last people squared up. Let's just move these last people up here. And I think that's everybody, right? I don't think I'm forgetting anybody. Oh, cursed bag person head. I literally added him. How can I forget about him? Sukuna. Black box, Sukuna. And then true form Sukuna, I guess, is fair. I think that's everybody, right? Oh, smallpox deity, true. Druve. We don't know what Yuji's curse technique is, so I'm not fucking putting him there. I don't care what you guys say. Toge. I think that's everybody. Also, what's the BG music? Before this one, I think my track list just stopped. I'm sorry. If you go back in the stream, it should display. Oh no, my track list on screen paused. I hate when that happens. I'm sorry, guys. It's not gonna tell you what track it is. I hate when it does that shit. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. Let's get back into it. I want to finish in 20 minutes, guys. I want to finish on time. I had my little shill moment. Hey, Void, thank you for the 5. I just saw that. I'm sorry. Thank you for the support. I appreciate that dono. Toji could punch a baby and be the fan favorite. R.I.P. Granny. I literally saw the best tweet ever yesterday, which was like, stalks a young child, kills teenagers, tries to sell his own child into another family, dies, comes back and immediately kills an old lady. That's my character. Yo, Toji is just another breed. Ain't finishing it in 20 minutes. I think we're pretty close. We only got a couple people left. We can make it happen. We just got to run through quick. Vex, don't doubt me. All right, let's go. Smallpox deity is up next as a curse technique. And smallpox deity's curse technique is actually surprisingly just like Hikari and Higuruma's, where it completely surrounds their domain expansion. The smallpox is interesting, where it literally just it puts you in a coffin, crushes you under a boulder, and then in 3 seconds you're dead. The only thing that makes it a not an instant S tier, in my honest opinion, is because you can literally break out of the coffin in the 3 seconds. It literally gives you time to break it. And according to Mei, it actually gets faster and more powerful as it continues dropping boulders. Or was it because Mei said that she was getting exhausted and that's why she was getting slower? I don't know if it was because the boulder crushing was getting faster or Mei was getting tired and she was starting to get slower as to why she wasn't sure if she could keep this up forever. Because as the Bacon Thief just said in chat, if you're alone, you're most likely fucked, because if you're not able to keep up and just take the smallpox deity out and you don't have another person that can take the burden of the boulder off of you, you're kind of fucked. I think the smallpox deity definitely sits in like a B tier rating. But if you're strong enough, you can get out of it. As seen when even someone like Mei, who doesn't have a Hack's curse technique, was able to break the boulder. But you do win. But the thing that keeps it in B tier for me, because I'd put it in C tier if it was just easy to break out and kill the smallpox deity. But honestly, regardless of if it's Mei getting tired or the smallpox deity is getting faster in the domain expansion, ultimately Mei got out, but Mei only got out because of Ui Ui. Like, if Mei didn't have Wee Wee there to take the cursed energy condition off of her, she would have lost, which she even says herself, because she would have eventually gotten tired and lost just through battle of attrition. Which means that's what I think puts it in B tier, because if you aren't powerful like Gojo or Sukuna, and you can't, 1, break the boulder, and 2, beat the smallpox deity afterwards, or just have unlimited stamina, you're gonna lose through battle of attrition, which is gonna put smallpox deity in B tier for me. Because it's just a one-trick pony and it can be beaten, but you gotta be a pretty powerful person to beat it. Next up is going to be Druve, who was one of the pillars of Sendai Colony with the orbiting domain and the 2 giant gopher Shikigami. And to be honest, the 2 giant gopher Shikigami were able to do a decent amount of damage, and we even see Yuta be able to use... She also says that, whatever. I got sidetracked. Yuta also uses the curse technique to create a small domain around Oro and then slash Oro inside the domain, although it's even not strong enough to do some serious damage. I think Druve just being able to basically summon powerful Shikigami and then let them just reign free, and as the Shikigami go further from Druve, all the space that the Shikigami encompass basically become his domain that orbits and he has control in. Now, while that's the case, it's not so much control where you can just create slash attacks. Druve has the Shikigami and he also has the mini Shikigami, which are kind of like the pterodactyls that you see waging war and causing damage, which would probably be a much bigger threat for the sorcerers. I mean, the big gerbil Shikigami are probably easily avoidable. The pterodactyl Shikigami are what's going to be hard to avoid. And we even see Yuta use it as to such a degree again that he can make it small and summon small Shikigami that can cut the user, but it's really not that great of a technique. The main benefit of it is that it can continually expand and continue growing. But if you're someone like Yuta that's able to just go right up to the source and just mollywop you, and you're able to take on the Shikigami, it's not much of a problem, honestly. And also, again, if your Shikigami aren't able to get, it's all dependent on how your Shikigami are able to create that domain. So if you're not able to trap an opponent or you're not able to get your domain out far enough, you're not going to have enough control. So I would probably put Druve in top of C tier. It's one of those techniques that if you get a decent amount of time to set it up, you could probably do a pretty much amount of damage. Probably very similar to Reggie, where if you have all the conditions set up, you can be pretty powerful, but you have to get all those conditions set up. And if you're starting from scratch in a battle, it's not going to be easy to do. Whereas a character like Kirara can more easily set up their preparations and set up everything a lot easier than someone like Druve can. So Druve, top of C without a doubt, for sure. Moving on to Yuki Tsukumo and just pure mass manipulation, and supposedly mass manipulation that just ignores obstacles or ignores concepts. I think it's pretty easily an A tier technique. Especially when you consider that using it to its full extent is literally able to just completely blow up the entire world, and create a black hole, which I guess would probably put it in S tier, just on the basic fact that Yuki herself is the only reason. Yuki holding her power back and Tengen also trying to hold the power back with his barrier are the only reason the world itself aren't completely destroyed. Yuki's curse technique, Wrath of the Star, lets her literally throw a punch that can literally sever Kenjaku, who probably is one of the strongest abominations in the entire series, especially. So I imagine his durability and cursed energy, reinforcement, is pretty fucking powerful. She literally just punches through that, no fucking problem, without a doubt in hell. So that's fucking insane. I don't think Suicide Attack should be ranked along with a curse technique because it's a one and done. While I do completely agree with you, the problem is even if Yuki doesn't take herself out, Yuki even says Yuki can even put that mass on, let's say Garuda. So let's say she doesn't even put a black hole on herself. Yuki could do the soccer ball kick that she does with Garuda, kick Garuda far away. As we see, Garuda was even powerful enough to completely destroy a curse spirit that could remove obstacles from its way. That was its legitimate curse technique, by the way. So yes, kick Garuda away, and then using a barrier technique or a domain literally caused that black hole to happen in a controlled space. Like, Yuki can not only summon all of that, yeah, blue fucking lock, baby. That's what I'm talking about, Toby. You're OG fan right there. Let's go. I love that Kenjaku fight analysis. It's so much fun. Go check it out if you haven't already. Super fun. I loved making that video. Yeah, like the sole fact that like she can use Garuda as an extension of her technique makes the black hole viable without being an immediate, you know, unaliving technique. Yeah, Yuki can just like, Yuki's mass manipulation is definitely OP. Like, it could destroy Maharaga without a doubt, because it would just destroy Maharaga in one attack. That's why it's above 10 shadows. That's why it's above curse spirit manipulation. That's why it's above limitless. Even though you'd have to argue whether Yuki or Gojo would be able to interact. That's a discussion for another thing. Why didn't she do that against Kenjaku though? Because I don't know, she was getting fucked up, bro. Kenjaku's a really good opponent. So if you can't understand how Kenjaku using curse spirit manipulation, also with a secondary curse technique of gravity as well, was able to beat mass manipulation, then again, there's a reason why I would put mass again. Also, on top of this, going with the whole there's levels to this shit thing. Born as a 5-year-old child, curse spirit manipulation, mass manipulation. Geto as a 5-year-old child with only grade 4 curse spirits going up against Yuki as a child that can still control everything that has to do with mass. Mass manipulation is higher. Even Geto, Kenjaku literally used a special grade curse spirit against her. Yuki was still able to beat curse spirit manipulation with mass manipulation. Mass manipulation, definitely higher than curse spirit manipulation, without a doubt. Moving on to like, this is such a contrast, and I think this is super hysterical, to be completely honest with you. Give me 1 second, because we're gonna finish this list up in just literally 1 fucking second. Guys, I have to go to the bathroom, and 2, I have to unlock the door for my girlfriend. I'm going to play 1 more ad, and I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys, and we're gonna finish this tier list immediately. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and like the damn stream if you haven't already, guys. All right, guys. Time to finish this goddamn shit. It's been a long road ahead. Whew. I'm tired. I'm losing my voice. Crazy. All right. Is bro taking a dump? I told you I was unlocking the door for my girlfriend. Y'all trying to slander me, make me look like Boo Boo the clown. No, I'm just kidding. If I was taking a dump, I'd let you motherfuckers know. No shame. Anyway, all right, getting back into this. Let's get some energy. I don't know how I lost that energy. We lost the momentum. That was the problem. All right, I'm back into it. We're back into it. Momo Nishimiya, the god herself, absolute S-class character. Tool manipulation, literally the strongest curse technique in the entire fucking world. Nah, but being completely honest with you, I think Momo is going to be the first person that literally sits in E tier. Because legitimately, what do you have with this curse technique? You have the power to control a broomstick. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think I would honestly much rather have like cursed energy control, like Ryu with like the cursed energy cannon, or like Gaku Kanji, like, or I'd even rather have Moondrag, to be completely honest with you, rather than the fucking broom manipulation or like object control. You know, like, I feel like tool manipulation should be able to control stuff other than a broom and more than one object. I mean, until anything is stated, it might just be, maybe it's like a witch thing where like you can control things that you have a special attachment to, or like if you can literally just control objects as a whole, like this bitch is not using this technique correctly. I'm sorry, Frank, and I don't mean that derogatorily, I apologize, but goddamn, Momo, if you can control literally just objects in general, do more than just the broom, god damn it. Start fucking picking up the trees in the area. Start literally just carrying around a pencil case with you and start fucking flipping around all these like, if I brought a colored pencil box, I would be more deadly than I would be with a broom. Momo? Exactly, Tendo. Like, it would be like Reggie, but way better. Like, goddamn. You get what I'm saying, right? Like, it's crazy. The only good thing is that you can fly, which again is like, if you lose your broom, that's it. Like, am I able to, like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying. The joke was good enough for me to explain why she's an E tier. I'm not moving her up. She's gonna stay there. It's just forever. Let's delete these other rows because they're unnecessary. All right. Moving up, we've got curse speech. Now, curse speech is definitely a curse technique. I honestly don't know where to put curse speech, because there's a couple different levels to curse speech, to be completely honest with you, right? There's a lot of different levels. Let's go over the downsides to curse speech first before we go over the pros. Downside to curse speech: you can only use a couple of times unless you have throat medicine on hand, because it literally has recoil and hurts your own throat, which is a pretty significant drawback. Which means if you are going into any fight, you have a small limit of stamina, and as soon as you run out of that, unless you have medicine to help that, you're fucked. Also, going on top of that downside, the higher power enemy you're going up against, the more recoil you're going to get, which is why, you know, Inumaki going up against like a grade 4 curse causes little to no problem, whereas Inumaki going up against Hanami instantly takes him the fuck out to where he falls to his knees and is like coughing up blood. Going up against a special grade is tough. And we also see that depending on your overall level of power of cursed energy, like if you go up against someone strong like Geto, or you go up against a special grade curse spirit, if you're not on their level, you're really not gonna be doing much to them. Like, Geto survives getting crushed completely, picks himself back up, no problem, and then goes to finish off the job. You know what I mean? Like, your throat and lungs are getting fucked up completely while the whole time you're using curse speech. And on top of that, part of the reason that people still fight with me on as to why I picked putting a character like Momo over a character like Inumaki, despite how versatile curse speech is because any sorcerer whatsoever can literally just block their ears and completely void curse speech like it never happened whatsoever. Like it never happened. Any sorcerer fighting Inumaki can just completely void out his curse technique, doesn't work whatsoever, and they're fucked if they know it's coming. So like if you're going up against a sorcerer, you're completely useless. Useless. You're only good against cursed spirits. Which I think with all of the downsides that go with it, even if you didn't have downsides, just being able to not really fight sorcerers is a huge problem. So that being stated as a whole, I think it solidifies me putting Inumaki in C tier. Cursed Speech has great potential, but in certain circumstances, it's literally fucking pointless. There's no reason to even have it. You might as well not even fucking bother. It's just literally dumb and pointless and stupid. A technique that definitely isn't stupid, but it really depends on who you have using it, is going to be Puppet Manipulation by Kokichi Muta, who I think is able to probably sit in B tier a little bit higher than the other C tiers. And let me tell you why. Puppet Manipulation not only gives you the option to control not just one puppet at a time, which probably would have kept it at like a C or D tier. You can control multiple different puppets with an unlimited range of puppets, by the way. Like Kokichi Muta was theorized to potentially be able to control puppets literally on the other side of the country with no problem at all. To the point where even after Kokichi is dead, Kokichi still made a binding vow with himself to be able to control puppets after his death. And with the fact that these puppets can be all different sizes, as Utahime mentions, thank you China Doll for the gifted membership, appreciate the love. You can literally make the puppet the size of a mosquito. You can make it a small communicative device. You can make it a, human-sized puppet. And you can also make it a giant fucking Godzilla-sized mech as well, which can store your cursed energy up and fire those cursed energy beams like it's Ishigori. So Puppet Manipulation, if you're a normal person, without Heavenly Restriction and the high stock of cursed energy, definitely doesn't give you as long of range. And definitely doesn't give you as much control over as many puppets. But overall, the ability to hide yourself in an undisclosed location and fight with a bunch of different puppets and everything like that as a whole is pretty OP. Definitely very OP. And just backed up by Kokichi's Heavenly Restriction adds a whole layer of it. So if it was, honestly, I think if we had Heavenly Restriction and we didn't have like the whole regular person thing going into it, I would probably put Puppet Manipulation in an A tier, but being honest and fair, I'll put it in B. Going off of a little bit of what I was just talking about, of being able to hide in an undisclosed location and just let people do your dirty work for you, Masamichi Yaga is a character that if you want to complain and say there's someone who did not get to show their full potential of their curse technique, like if you want to talk shit about Kashimo not having their curse technique be shown fully of what you can do, Yaga is the highest definition of off-screening. Because if you thought Kokichi was B tier, I'm honestly struggling not putting Yaga in S tier, to be completely honest with you. Yaga and the Cursed Corpse Manipulation, at its lowest level, is at least a B tier. Similar to Kokichi, because you can make a bunch of different puppets and objects and dolls, and you can manipulate them outside of yourself. Those dolls can have their own techniques, have their own specialties or uniquities, as we see with Panda, who is able to literally have 3 different souls that are able to transform and all have different abilities. Panda is literally just an extension of the Cursed Corpse ability. Panda is literally just an extension of Masamichi Yaga's curse technique, if you really think about it. On top of that, much like Muta, much like Kokichi, without even needing a binding vow, because Yaga is literally able to make cursed dolls that are self-sufficient, that are able to literally charge themselves up with cursed energy. Don't use Yaga's cursed energy whatsoever, taking that into account. And even after Masamichi dies, because these cursed corpses are now given life. Like, Yaga can literally create life with his curse technique. If you want to give Yaga maximum potential, we could say, given enough time, Yaga could literally, and this is why Yaga was almost registered as a special grade, literally could have taken over the entire fucking world. I'm telling you right now, Yaga could have easily taken over the world, no problem. Literally made an entire army of pandas. Yaga can easily take on a small country with an army of teddy bears. This is what I'm saying. And he could have devised and created different animals and different techniques and a bunch of different abilities. Like, there's a reason why he was almost registered as special grade and put behind a cell, because Yaga literally could have created an army and taken over the world. Granted, you do need the time and effort to make all of those dolls, and you do need to then take your curse technique and be able to discover the secret of life with the, you know, the self-sufficient 3 cores and everything like that. So I'm gonna put it at the top of A. Should I put it in S? I'll decide at the end if I should put it in S, because I think it's a pretty good curse technique. Like, I think it is really fucking powerful. It's top of A for sure, but I think, like, if you have like characters like reality bending, Kenjaku with gravity, idle transfiguration that can literally touch the soul, I think curse techniques in the S tier are definitely way higher than the curse techniques in A tier. So I think, unfortunately, I think I'll probably keep Yaga at the top of A, because again, I just think the techniques in S tier really easily outrank Yaga. Easily. Now, the ratio technique is a great curse technique for sure. The downside of the ratio technique really wholeheartedly comes down to this, and that it can literally just not do really any damage and not really do much problem at all. Like, we see Nanami's ratio strikes get blocked by Dagon's durability, no problem. We do see Mahito be able to survive the ratio technique, even though essentially because it doesn't hurt the soul. It's mostly just a critical hit. And while it's a very convenient curse technique, I'd probably put it above things like Druve, Reggie, Blood Manipulation, because of the major downsides of the C tier techniques. Ratio technique doesn't really have any downsides, but its upside isn't really a one-off be-all. Like, if the ratio technique broke durability, then I would probably be willing to put it in a much higher tier. But I think it probably sits in C tier and B tier simply because, one, it has strong attack power, can be versatilely used in most different situations, but it falls short because it just, you know, it can be completely ignored by durability. I think it sits in B tier because it doesn't suffer from all the downsides of the other curse techniques, but I think it doesn't have enough going for it that can put it in 8 tier because it's just not good enough. It's a solid curse technique, but it's not an A. It's not an A by any means. Just to run through an easy one real quick. We've got Ogi, we've got Blazing Courage, which is basically just a downgraded version of Jogo's curse technique. It's literally fire manipulation, but only controlled by the sword, I'm pretty sure. So it doesn't have any of the upsides that Jogo has, where Jogo's able to like summon lava plumes and like shoot huge beams of like volcanic energy. Whereas like Ogi can just slash with fire. You're not able to use any range attacks with it. If you're not fast enough to have hurt your opponent, you're really not going to do much with it. It literally has none of the upsides that I would have given regular fire manipulation as a whole. It's literally just a fire sword. So C tier for sure. C tier for sure. Just a fire sword. Honestly, I'd probably put it in D tier because I'd rather have Ishigori's fucking cursed energy blast than that. I'll put it in D tier. Fucking lame. Absolutely lame as fuck. Absolutely lame. Moving on, another character's curse technique that's just absolutely D tier and lame that we can run through really quickly. Ino's curse technique. Really, like, what the fuck? And it's the Seion curse technique, pretty much very similar to the Granny's curse technique as well. Where they're able to basically call upon spirits from the dead and basically utilize them. Ogami utilizes this by turning herself or her grandson into a medium and summoning the spirit's body down, whereas Ino uses it to summon the 4 auspicious beasts, which are just spirits that basically give him elemental powers. Like, he can call upon water manipulation a little bit, electric manipulation a little bit. I mean, and you have to constantly keep your cool and constantly keep your connection to the spirit realm while you're at it. Like, literally, once your spirit realm connection is deleted, you are fucked and you don't have control. And honestly, the homing drill didn't do much damage to a basic curse user that didn't even have a technique like Ogami's grandson. The water manipulation just adds to your cursed energy, speed, and power. Whack. Honestly, super whack curse technique. Super lame. Just absolutely fucking stupid. Easy curse technique to put in D tier. Another easy curse technique, we're just running through this real quickly as possible. Another curse technique we can easily run through that I would surprisingly give us at the end of C tier is going to be Utahime Iori's solo forbidden area technique, which is literally just like an attack, defense, and speed buff from like an RPG game. Like, if you ever played a turn-based RPG game and like a certain character has like a support attack that's like able to like buff your stats, this is literally it. It's literally just a purely support curse technique that basically just boosts Utahime's curse energy and the people around her, which, I mean, granted, if you're a powerful sorcerer, like if you're Gojo level, that buff can really help you. You know, the buff can increase your speed, it can increase your curse energy output. Like, I'm never gonna say that a support curse technique is a bad curse technique, especially, again, considering that if you are him, like, imagine Toji, but Toji was able to amp himself 120%. You know, that could mean a lot. However, again, it completely depends on who you are and who you're with. If you don't have any him candidates with you, it's not going to make a difference. And if you are 0, adding 20% onto 0 doesn't add much. But it's still a curse technique that I wouldn't doubt is, you know, useful. And I would probably put it above fucking Ishigori's just energy cannon. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a buff, you know. So, cool thing, easy to rank, C tier, easy C tier, without a doubt. Moving on, I've got Nobara's curse technique, the straw doll curse technique, which again, I would probably put in C tier because it's really not that great, to be completely honest with you. Like, Nobara straw doll, while it has resonance, which is a very powerful technique, it's able to hit the soul we know of, which is able to hit Maito, which is something not a lot of curse techniques can say, so it immediately gets a leg up just being able to hit the soul. It's able to transfer pain between Nobara and another person, which means you can kind of like use it as like a destiny bond. Like if Nobara was to attach it to someone and she died, the person that was attacking her would probably die as well. She uses it when she gets hit with Kichizu and Esu's decay ability that causes poison. She basically uses that to cause damage to them. She stabs herself with nails to cause pain to herself, which translates the pain over to it. We also see the straw doll technique be able to pass energy blasts from afar. Like, she literally takes Eso's arm and hits it with her cursed energy blast from afar, which blows him up from a long range. Which is pretty good. Hairpin does serious explosion damage. So as we see when Nobara fights Momo and she lays nails all over the place, she can just blow up an entire forest with cursed energy, which is pretty OP. Like, that moment in the exchange event for Nobara is a really awesome fucking moment, and she really got set up to be a cool character. And then even just in the anime episode we just got, she gets fucking embarrassed by Haruta. Like, when it comes to fighting in a sorcerer battle, she's really not the greatest. She gets mollywopped by Haruta, which is just embarrassing. Resonance is a really cool technique. Straw doll technique is pretty cool. You can do a couple different things with it. But, like, would I rather have the straw doll technique or the ratio technique? Probably the ratio technique. Let's be honest here. A straw doll technique is really cool, especially if we see more from it. God forbid if Nobara survives and she's still alive, but we'll have to see if that actually happens. Moving on from that, we've got Toto and Boogie Woogie. Boogie Woogie I'll probably put in B tier because it's pretty useful in battle, especially if you're fighting with someone. Like, you can just clap and you can just swap places with literally anything with cursed energy. You can swap with objects, you can swap with people, which means that even if you're not in like a tag team fight where you have a partner to swap between, you can swap between your opponent. You can swap between other decoys and objects. Like, we even see Toto go as far when he's fighting the polymorphic soul isomers. He imbues a cursed rock with energy, throws it towards the polymorphic soul isomer, and then swaps places with the rock so we could get a better advantage and like attack the transfigured human from above. So like, you are able to use things as decoys. You're able to swap your location with anything that has cursed energy, especially considering if you have someone that's smart enough to like imbue things with cursed energy, so you can even add more onto that list. You can call cursed tools to you. You could probably, even if you're fighting an enemy with cursed tools, you can disarm them, steal their cursed tool, put it in your hand. If an enemy, we see Hanami throws Toto towards spikes, he swaps with Hanami in the last moment and gets Hanami impaled by their own attacks. The curse technique Boogie Woogie is very versatile and very cool. But like, again, unless you're smart enough to use it, you're not going to do much damage. And there are a lot of characters like Jogo, Dagon that are just have full-on area of effect attacks that, like, unless you're escaping, you're gonna get fucked up. So Boogie Woogie, cool curse technique, but definitely is not going to beat some of the stronger curse techniques on this list without a doubt. Swapping places is a lot more versatile than, you know, buffing yourself, but not more versatile than just blowing an entire area up or having full control over lightning and everything lightning can do. Yep, that's that. Without a doubt. All right, so we're in the last and final curse techniques of the verse. We're in the last 4 curse techniques as a whole. Actually, last 3, honestly. So let's run through this very quickly. We've got Paper Bag Cursed User Head, who even Gojo goes as far as to say actually has a pretty useful curse technique. The fact that Paper Bag Boy Head is able to literally make 5 to 6 different clones of himself all at one time. And then on top of that, you're also able to switch which is the main body at any and all time, which is a very OP thing. Like, you can create 6 clones, and if you're an OP person, you can do some pretty serious damage to someone. On top of the fact that if one of those clones get destroyed, you can literally fucking just swap yourself with one of the clones. Now, obviously, again, it suffers from the same problem as Boogie Woogie, where if you are in a fight with an enemy that has just full area of effect range, like just mantling fire or just pure water or whatever, no matter if you can attack all 6 clones all at once, you're kind of fucked up. But like, if you're going up against most people and you can continue swapping between the clones and just making more clones, yeah, you can jump a motherfucker pretty easily. pretty easily, without a doubt. So yeah, I'd say Paper Bag Boy sits at the at B tier for sure. High level curse technique for sure. Oh, right. And now we have the last two curse techniques of the entire fucking series, guys. I mean, it really doesn't get any crazier than that. This is it. Yuta's cursed copy ability. The ability to just straight up copy another person's curse technique and use it to your full advantage. Now, granted, the one and only two staples of the curse copy technique are this. One, you have to ingest or take in part of the person's body that you are trying to steal their curse techniques. None of this conditionless nonsense. None of this. Yuta just sees something and he copies it. I'm not standing for it. I'm sure there'll be some of you guys in chat. It's not happening whatsoever. Not happening at all. You have to ingest or take in a person's body part to copy their curse technique. That being said, you can pretty much copy whatever you want. You can copy Gojo. You can copy Ishigori, copy Oro, copy any curse technique you get your hands on. Now, there's zero proof that you have to ingest some body part. He literally ingested Oro's body part and was able to copy Oro's curse technique after that. That is all the proof I need. If you need more proof, sorry to tell you, you're not getting it, because that's all it is. It's right there in front of you. Bing, bang, boom, you're wrong. I mean, like, Yuta could have literally asked Inumaki for part of his hair. He trained with Inumaki multiple times. Like, is it really that crazy to think he got a blood sample from... Again, this goes into the whole Kashimo got off-screened. Gojo got off-screened. Like, do you need me to hold your hand and draw you a panel where this event actually happened for you to know it happened? No. We can easily imply Gojo got cleaved in half. We can easily imply Kashimo got killed by the net cleave. We can easily imply Yuta took and ingested a part of Inumaki. Doesn't have to be a whole arm. It can be blood. It can be fucking hair for all I care. He ate the arm because it was the closest thing to him. Bing, bang, boom. Again, you're wrong. That's gonna be my fucking catchphrase at the end of this tier list. God damn. Because of the conditions and the fact that, again, even though curse copy is supremely OP, if you compare a 5-year-old Yuta to a 5-year-old Yuki, Yuta, who has curse copy, and Yuki has mass manipulation, Yuta's getting mollywopped. You also have the 5-minute only condition that you can only use all of your curse techniques inside the 5 minutes. Which, as much as you guys hate me, and as much as all of you guys are going to be butthurt about this, Yuta sits at the top of A. Yuta sits at the top of A. Curse copy is just as versatile, just as fucking crazy as Yaga's ability to take over the entire country. But again, when you're born with these curse techniques, if we're putting 5-year-old babies up, we're putting 2-year-old babies up against each other in combat, and we're giving them these motherfuckers curse techniques, who's coming out on top? That's all I'm saying. Yuta, top of A. And the last and final curse technique to go over, which we're coming up on 3 hours, which makes about sense. So I'm glad that we're finally over here. Cleave and dismantle. Sukuna's curse technique that allows him to just cut through anything that he wants, which is dismantle, full-on slash through the air that most people cannot even see, so you can't see it coming. Gojo literally only blocked it because he had limitless, and then once it adapted to limitless, that didn't even matter. And then we have the curse technique aspect that probably makes it as strong as it should be, which is cleave. And cleave by adjusting to the enemy's cursed energy output. It provides Sukuna a slash that is going to be able to slash whatever he needs to do. Cleave is literally able to adjust to any target. It's literally able to adjust, so that way if it has to fight Maharaga, it has to fight a strong person like Mahito, or like even the million spirit merged cursed spirit that just has all this cursed energy powerful. If you give Cleave the chance to adjust in cursed energy output, it will cut. It will cut for sure. Especially we see to the point where once you adjust or you adapt to such a level, Cleave immediately gets the ability to bisect the world because it has adjusted to literal space itself and is now able to just cut whatever the fuck it wants. It doesn't need the space cutting ability to be S, but the fact that Cleave is able to adjust to literally anything at all and cut through it, to the point that we even see Sukuna be able to adjust it to pure space and the limitless itself. Cleave and Dismantle will literally just be able to cut through whatever it wants. Sukuna's Cleave and Dismantle definitely sits above most characters' curse techniques, to the point where Cleave will be able to adjust to fire. Cleave will be able to adjust to water. Cleave will be able to adjust to ice. It will be able to adjust to any cursed spirit, any Shikigami that it gets put up against. We've even seen it be able to adapt to Limitless, which is why I love the fact that Limitless sits at A, because it proves that a technique like Cleave is a higher tier. This is going to be the end of it all, guys. This is what we're coming up on completely. All curse techniques in Jujutsu Kaisen, at least that I'm aware of. I may have missed it, but I'm not entirely sure here. If I missed anyone, if I did, I'm sorry. A baby with Cleave ain't cleaving Limitless. I mean, a baby with Cleave that can adjust to whatever it needs to will eventually be able to kill Limitless. And the thing is going up against a baby with Limitless. A baby with Limitless doesn't have the 6 eyes that's going to be able to completely just block everything. Depends on your cursed energy output. So Cleave will eventually adjust to the cursed energy output, which is what makes it S. And it's not like, oh, I need to go through my whole life and train or like the 10 shadows, I have to go through and tame every Shikigami, or I have to go through Geto, I have to go and obtain all of these different curse spirits. Like Sukuna, even as a 5-year-old child with Cleave, can try to cut something, it doesn't cut right away. All right, I adjust my Cleave, now it cuts. Rather than I have to find a curse spirit to get me this level. I have to tame a Shikigami that gets me that level. A baby won't adjust to Limitless. Says who? The Cleave can adjust. Cleave just adjusts. It's not the same thing as I have to get a curse spirit and tame this curse spirit. I have to get this Shikigami and tame the Shikigami. I send a slash attack, it doesn't work. I adjust accordingly and send the next slash attack. It's different. It is different. A baby won't be able to understand how to adjust. I think you're taking the baby analogy a little too seriously. Like I know I use that to it's like I feel like sometimes I'm on Twitter because like I'll say something and you guys will interpret it in the absolute worst way possible. Like okay. He didn't need Maharaga. He could have adapted Cleave, but it would have taken longer. Exactly. Cleave is constantly adjusting and adapting. It doesn't need Maharaga to adapt to Limitless. It just needs time. Which, that time to adjust is different than I'm a baby with curse spirit manipulation and I have no curse spirits whatsoever, and I need to find a special grade curse spirit that will let me take on Cleave. It's an entirely different task than I have to just adjust my slash attack enough to be able to beat this person. Different. This baby could one-tap Gojo. See, now you're on my level and you understand it. Thank you for understanding. Tiberius, thank you so much for the dono. I appreciate that support. Miss Stream, let's restart the tier list. Believe me, JK. What's up, everyone? Hey, Tiberius, we're sorry to miss you, but we're glad that you're here now. You came up right at the end of the stream, so It's sad, but don't worry. The VOD will be available for sure. VOD will definitely be available without a doubt. Because we're coming up on the end of the stream here, guys. As you can tell, I'm losing my voice. I got stuff to do today. Coming up on 3 hours, and I guess at the very end of all of this curse technique discussion, all of this crazy ranting, and all the different perspectives and feelings that we hear, just know a baby with cleave could defeat Gojo with limitless. And I'm telling you right now, if that wasn't the one thing you got out of this entire stream, I don't know what the fuck you're even watching for, guys. But sincerely, you guys, if you made it all the way through this entire tier list, I sincerely appreciate you. If you're like, wait a minute, there's still people down below, we're ranking curse techniques. I'm sorry, I couldn't find a very good curse technique only tier list. They're all trash. So I had to use a character tier list, and we're just forgetting all the people that are below. We're gonna act like this is it. I'm gonna take a picture of the tier list. I'm gonna post it up on Twitter for all to see, so that way the community can bring this around everywhere and show us what we're cooking. And if anyone argues with me or says I'm wrong, then just tell them the baby analogy and they'll understand immediately. Guys, if you want to see more of my unfiltered thoughts on Jujutsu Kaisen, Sakamoto Days, Chainsaw Man, any series, or just life itself, go follow me on Twitter. That's where you'll be able to see the completed tier list and get the link to the tier list for yourself. Follow me if you haven't already. Like the stream if you haven't already. I thank you again for hanging out with me. And my very last shill of the day. If you haven't already and you haven't seen it, I have a brand new second channel where I discuss never before seen commentary on the main channel. I post almost daily, so if you need more no-op content, go subscribe to No Operator 2 or No More Operator. I put the link in the chat as well. I just posted a video today, so go check it out. Show some No Operator love, and I'll see you guys all in the next stream. I'll be streaming on Monday for members only. We're going to be reading Hunter x Hunter from chapter 1 to however far we get. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely join and become a best grade member. If the join button doesn't show up, I got the link in the description. That Manga Monday will be members only, unfortunately, to kind of defend copyright. And yeah, Tuesday I'll be uploading Maharaga versus every Jujutsu sorcerer, so that will be a fun video. Look out for that. And again, go subscribe to the second channel if you want more no-op content. Guys, I hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday. Thank you for all tuning in and staying with me. I'm gonna nurse my destroyed voice, and that's that. Love every single one of you guys. Peace.